Tritch.
Vaughn to the left side of Hampton on the near hash. Now bring Tritch motion right to left. They'll hand it off to Tritch. Tritch turns the corner at the 25, at the 20. Tritch has the first down inside the 15. Freshman fighting for more yardage. He's driven backwards. His forward progress to take him to about the 14-yard line. Luke Tritch.
I'm sure Gavin was saying he passed it.
Yeah, he always says everything's a pass. Yeah.
With Luke as a freshman, he's had such a big freshman year. Where do you see his evolution going, and what are the types of things that you're working on with him? I mean, he has obviously tremendous physical skills. He just turned 15, but where do you think work is going to take him?
You know, he's going to keep working to get better. You know, they were staying after yesterday, throwing and catching, and I just think, you know, just being consistent 24/7 with what he does, being a better blocker. You know, I mean, guys are kind of a little bit bigger than him right now, you know, and what he's going to do is do a lot of work in the weight room, get stronger. You know, he's already strong for a freshman, but I think, you know, the weight room will help evolve his game. His flexibility will help evolve his game, and then just working on his speed. You know, we do a lot of speed work Mondays and Wednesdays, so I think that'll help his game. You know, the faster you are, the harder it is to catch you. So I think he'll keep working on that too as he keeps growing and as his body keeps maturing.
He seems like a guy who loves the game, who brings a mental aspect to the game.
No, he loves the game. He loves all parts of it. He loves working. He just loves ball. And when you got guys that love ball and love being around it and want to be good football players, and want to get better every day, that's not satisfied or complacent with their work, then they'll keep growing and keep getting better. Once you get complacent, you don't get any better.
Gavin had 5 touchdowns on the night. He picks up his first to Corbin Reynolds here on our next highlight.
Now 3 receivers to the right of Hampton. Claps his hands. Vaughn's on his left side. Looks to throw in the pocket with time towards the end zone. Corbin Reynolds hauls it in. And the senior from Loretto has a touchdown on senior night.
Such a reliable number 1 receiver. I mean, he is a type of guy who goes and gets the football. He makes catches in traffic. And that particular post route he seems to love.
Yeah, he does. He does a good job with it and gets his eyes on it and makes good completion. Again, you're talking about catching in traffic, and that's what you have to have. You know, when you play good defenses like Rockvale coming up, you got to be able to catch the ball in traffic. Being able to get open and catching the ball in tough, difficult situation has helped improve his game.
Our defensive play of the game comes from Elijah Rees, and it's on an interception. We'll take a look at that now.
Clock is moving. Remkus takes the shotgun snap, stands on the near hash. He's going to throw it down the left side, and it's going to be picked off in the secondary. Elijah Rees at the 30, 25-20 down the near sideline, inside the 15. Interception, Elijah Rees.
Elijah had just a fantastic game on his senior night.
No, he did. He had a really good game, and, you know, we got to keep having him playing well, you know, as we keep moving on, and he did a great job, you know, a good kick return, a good interception, and, you know, he did a good job because he was prepared. He did a great job last week preparing, getting ready for Siegel, and not taking anything for granted or not looking past anybody. And, you know, I was proud of when you got seniors doing that and the way they preparing and getting ready for games, that elevates others' games, and I thought he did a great job being a great leader last week.
Our offensive play of the game comes on a touchdown completion from Gavin Hampton to Jacob Vaughn.
3 receivers left, 1 to the right. Now the motion Vaughn out of the backfield will give 5 wide. He's going to throw to Vaughn, left corner. Vaughn elevates at the goal line. Vaughn with the catch and touchdown. Jacob Vaughn hauls it in, and goodness gracious, I go all the way back to the Blackman game, Ethan, and throwing a ball up into the end zone. Vaughn was unable to hold it. This time he hauls it in just across the goal line on a great throw from Hampton, but a better catch from Vaughn.
That's a heck of a catch.
That was a great catch. You know, it's a big-time catch, big-time play. And, you know, that's what he's done. Again, we talked about it, you know, him growing up and the evolution, you know, and being a leader and taking that position serious and being able to catch the ball in the backfield is huge for him. And he did a great job of that play and keeping his eye on the ball and finish the play. And he was able to finish that play right there.
We've got several highlights coming up here I'm going to play through. We've got an interception from Aiden Emmons. We've got a couple of receptions from Gavin to Corbin Reynolds. I'm just going to let them play here because we've got so many of them, so I'm going to go right to them right here.
They'll now motion the up man from right to left. Remkus in the pocket with time. Tough throw. It's picked off. Emmons at the 50. Aiden Emmons with the interception. The intended receiver that time was Drew Hostetler. Like fall. Snap to Hampton on third down. Pressure from his backside. Gets rid of it. Finds Reynolds. Reynolds inside the 35, across the 30. Drags a defender with him all the way to the 25-yard line in the first half. They'll go 5 wide again. Hampton looking to throw. Throws across the middle. Threads the needle to Reynolds, who steps past a defender. It was Mason Grisham and takes it into the end zone.
Big-time players making big plays. Aiden comes up with the interception, and then Corbin picks up his second touchdown of the night. As the calendar turns towards November, as we wrap up the regular season and head towards the postseason, players making plays is going to be the story, right? And we know who those star guys are, but the other piece of it is somebody's going to make a name for themselves. It happens every postseason, right? That some guy who's been a big part is going to make a play or have a game that separates them and puts them into that star category.
Yeah, as long as, like you said, these guys keep getting better and practice the way they're practicing and keep enjoying being around each other, somebody will. A few years ago, we had Ben Woodruff, we had some guys, really talented guys that are playing college football right now. And Ben, just kept being Mr. Consistent. And then he come out in the playoffs and had his best game in the playoffs. And so, that's what I keep telling the guys, just keep doing your role and keep being you and big things will happen.
So I've got the highlight here, and you mentioned it earlier, some celebrations after the fact. Levante's house makes a stop on this highlight, and he's given a penalty flag. We mentioned throughout the thing, I didn't think it was a penalty. Ethan Marcum, my analyst, didn't think it was a penalty. Levante's appeared to get up right away, come towards the sideline. He makes a stop. The flag comes in. What was your view of that on the sideline?
Yeah, you must have been talking to Coach Real, because I got all over Coach Real for that also. So he must have paid you some money or took you out to dinner or done something. No, but so the thing that House did was he leaned over and got in the face, and I don't even know if he said anything, but it was real quick. It was real quick, and I happened to see it, so that's why I was telling him to done everything that he did without looking at the kid. He wouldn't have got the penalty, and you just can't do it. You can't stand over somebody and look at them after a play. And it was real quick. It was real quick.
It was, and it looked like, he had made the stop and had to get up, and so he's looking down, but there was that little extra, and the officials were right on top of it, and I do know that that's kind of part of their emphasis. The other things that we get a little bit later is we get a great run from Chris Peters. He has a great run coming in reserve play, and then Jaden Jones gets a nice run as well. If you get Peters and Jones able to come in and spell JV, that's going to be huge for the running game.
Yes, it is. Both of them do a great job. Both of them are seniors, and both of them could be starting anywhere else in the county or, some other schools in the state. But, they're satisfied and they keep working. And when their number gets called, they do a good job. And they run the ball hard and they run physical. Jaden's a really big physical runner. Chris is fast, and Chris does a good job catching the ball also. He can catch the ball out of the backfield. And like you said, you never know as that games keep going and as playoffs come and things like that, those guys' numbers get called more and more. And so they prepare like a starter each and every week, and I'm proud of them for doing that.
And Luke Tritch had a touchdown in this game.
On the far hash, keep Peters on the right of Hampton. Hampton wants to throw, looking to air it out, downfield towards Tritch. Tritch at the goal line. Tritch hauls it in. And Riverdale's quick strike offense puts 6 more on the board.
But I want to also appreciate Warrior Media RHS. They did all of our home games this year. Chris Martin's students did all that coverage, and they did a great job. And Warrior Media RHS on YouTube, kudos to all of them. This was their first year doing it. I think they did a great job.
No, they did a great job, and Chris Martin embraced that role and loves it. He loves doing that stuff, and that's his passion. And he brought that passion, the passion I bring to my players. He brought the passion to his students, and those kids do it. Luke does a wonderful job. I don't know if you've met Luke, and Luke bounces around, and he's a junior. Thankful we got him for another year, and he gets cameras set up. He gets his helpers set up, and he's like the quarterback of their group, and he knows more about the scoreboard than I do.
He's already asked me about what are we doing for basketball? Are we doing all the basketball games? Can we cover those? So yeah, Luke's into it. He's ready to go.
Yes, he is. And, I told him, I hope there's a way we can keep him after he graduates. He'll move on to bigger and better things, but you never know, but again, Chris Martin have helped work on Luke's passion, and that could set him up for a future career. And That's what sold me in doing all this. Not just promoting the football program or promoting football players, but getting more students in Riverdale involved in this so they can learn their passion and help them set themselves up for their future.
Aiden Rivas, your senior kicker, got into the game to kick an extra point. He makes the extra point, and there's a block attempt. What is the update on Aiden? Because I know he's a soccer player, and I think everyone in the stadium hated to see him down on the turf after that play, having getting run into.
Yeah, that's been very devastating and emotional for all of us. A few of us coaches, including myself, begged Aiden to come out and play, and we wanted Aiden to be the kicker and come be a part. We've all enjoyed having Aiden around. Aiden's dad, Coach Rees, has been at Riverdale since the early 2000s, so they're enriched in the Riverdale community, the Riverdale sports, just the Riverdale High School, and they've seen it all here at Riverdale, and for that to have it was devastating and hurtful. Yeah, Aiden's out. He's done. He can't play soccer this year. He's got a torn ACL, MCL, PCL, and then he also has a chip bone in his knee. So if there is a worst case scenario, that was the worst case scenario, the worst case outcome that could possibly be. They'll find out today or tomorrow when his surgery will be. Aiden showed up yesterday and was able to talk to him a little bit and be with him for a little bit, and hopefully he'll still be able to come around. He's going to be in a little bit of pain from here on out, but it was a very unfortunate situation. All the kids, like you said, for Aiden to come in, everybody was cheering. You saw the sidelines hooping and hollering, and everybody was so excited that he was going to get that moment. And he's laying on the ground, his knees in pain, and he's saying, "My mama's going to kill me. My mama's going to kill me," because his mama was against him playing football because of things like that. And I said, "Well, she's going to kill me first before she kills you." And we kind of laughed about it. And I said, "But Aiden, you made it. You made it," and he did. And that kid's a tough kid. And you feel bad for the situation. You feel bad for him. And, his wife and my wife are really good friends. And, she sent my wife a text message this weekend and said, it's kind of hit him and he's kind of emotional right now. And I asked Aiden, did he regret playing football? Did he regret going out playing football? And he said, "Yeah, Mom, I do regret. The thing I regret is I didn't join the football team sooner. Those have been one of the best memories that I've had since I've been at Riverdale. And I wish I would have joined as a freshman." So that made me feel better as a coach that he's enjoyed it. He's had a good time. He does have a road to recovery, and it'll be some grueling times, but he's got some really good support group around him, really good people around him to help him get through this time. And, it's not only tough on him, it's tough on his parents. They're dealing with this and dealing with this situation. So, we're all our thoughts and prayers are with them as they go through this.
Every team is tested. We've talked about how much fun this group of seniors has and how much fun this team has together and enjoys being together. But this team has also been tested this year, man, from game one, and even in the preseason when you lose the starting holder and a senior, and then you lose LB, and then you have Aiden Rivas go down. I mean, you've been through some things this year.
Yeah, we have. We've been through some things as a team. We got 4 guys that's torn ACLs. That's crazy. And it's all just been different freak accident from Jonathan Turner. He had after the Summit scrimmage. Wyatt. Wyatt had a situation. At Stewart's Creek game where he tore his ACL. Wyatt actually. I don't know if you noticed, but Wyatt snapped twice last week on extra point. Dr. McKissick allowed him, and I was screaming at Dr. McKissick as he was running on the field. "This is your fault. You allowed this." But again, I was proud for Wyatt to be able to do that. He just wanted one more opportunity to go out on his own, to wear the helmet and shoulder pads, because he knows that's the last time ever he'll ever wear a helmet and shoulder pads. And he wanted to go out on his own, and Dr. McKissick allowed it, and he was able to snap a few extra points Friday night. But what has even made me prouder is another senior gave up those opportunities. Cooper Dees, and at the third touchdown, Cooper said, "Coach, it's time for White to go in." And I looked at him and I said, "All right, go on in, White." And that's what we talk about. That's why this team has been so fun to be around, because it's the unselfishness like that guys are willing to sacrifice their own playing time to get other guys in for a bigger moment, for something bigger than themselves. When they make it not about themselves, they make it about the team, that's when it's really special. And that's what makes it them enjoyable to be around.
And I didn't notice that. I always assume that it's Cooper out there. They're in a hard, those long snappers are in a hard place to see. They're sandwiched in there inside, so I rarely can see the number. But that's good to know that Wyatt was able to get in and snap.
Yeah, so it was a good opportunity for them and good opportunity for him. And again, he has his surgery next Wednesday, so our thoughts and prayers go out to him and his family. But again, Wyatt, we talked about it last week. Another tough situation, program shutting down, but his parents have really been thankful and blessed that he had this opportunity to come over here. And again, Wyatt, he was out here yesterday, in his coat and tie from they had picture day or something at Webb, and he just enjoyed being around and hanging out, and he enjoys being around the guys, and that's what it's about, man. As long as they're enjoying each other and having fun with each other and keeping that enthusiasm, good things can happen.
Rockvale on Friday night, as we turn our attention there, you go in at 6-2, 4-1, sitting in third place right now. It's crazy to be sitting at 4-1, 6-2, and you're in third place. That's how strong this region is. Rockvale's at 4-4, 3-2. They're fighting for a postseason berth, Coach. And I know your history with Coach Counts goes way back. When I look at the Rockets roster, what stands out to me is their size at the skill positions. Their quarterback is big. They've got a big receiver. And the guy that really, I mentioned at the end of the broadcast, strikes fear in my heart is the big tight end they've got. Because I saw him in a game. It took 3 or 4 guys to bring him to the ground.
Yeah, Dallas is a big player, been a big player for last year, and he does a good job. And Jonathan Hamby, he's a transfer from Blackman, and he does a really good job. He was hard to tackle last year when he started for Blackman, and he throws a really good ball. He's got a really, really strong arm. And again, they got some skilled kids that transferred over from Webb who can run. So they got some pieces, and what you've seen them from week 1 to now is they got better, and they got confidence. So we have to be ready and prepared to go because their confidence, especially in an overtime win they had last week, that's not something they've not done in the past. And Coach Counts has brought that confidence to them. It's been pretty impressive for how much Coach Counts has gotten done in a little bit of time, and he's done a really good job with them.
What concerns you about the game going into it on Friday? Because what I said in the broadcast was, what concerns me, I mentioned that tight end, but the other piece is it's going to be a desperate Rockets team. I mean, they recognize that if they can get a victory on Friday night, that gives them the inside track and keeps them out of a potential 3-way tie where you get into tiebreakers and determining who goes to the postseason. If they can get a victory, that likely gets them in as the 4 seed.
Yeah, it does. And so, what worries me is, just like you said, they're going to be motivated. They're going to be fired up. Coach Counts is going to have them ready to go. And so we have to match that enthusiasm. We have to be ready to go, and we have to ride that wave. When things go bad, we can't just get frustrated. We have to be able to ride that wave and stay calm and play the next play. If we don't play the next play and let one mistake carry over to the next mistake, then bad things will happen.
Let's talk about your freshman squad. A championship trophy has been brought home. You defeated Oakland on Monday night, Rutherford County champions, 9-0, outscored opponents 314-26. Coach, I think they only gave up points maybe in 2 games or 3 games, had 7 or 8 shutouts along the season. Tell me about this freshman team and you must be excited about knowing they'll be JV and varsity pretty quickly.
Yeah, they got a really good group, really talented group. And, what was special is, just how well they played together. I don't think anybody realizes, or most people don't realize, is Riverdale's kind of unique in this county is where we're the only school that doesn't have a Riverdale middle school. You got Rockvale Middle, you got Oakland Middle, you got Blackman Middle, you got Siegel Middle. Every school has a middle school but Riverdale. And so that's tough. That always puts us behind the 8 ball. Always. And it's been really tough for us. And that actually kind of hurts us. We can't walk into any middle school and just claim it as ours. Christiana has helped build that up for us. And Dr. Nix does a good job to establish that relationship with us and things like that. But again, it's just different whenever you have the Riverdale name attached to it. If it was Riverdale Middle over there and the kids wearing our gear and things like that, you take pride in it. But it's not that. The Christiana, and they have their own, and some of those kids from Christiana go to Rockvale, Rockvale Middle. We get kids from Christiana Middle, Rockvale Middle, and Buchanan Middle, and so. But that group is real talented. They play fast. They're physical. They got two really good linebackers that fly to the ball. The offensive line did a great job this year blocking. The quarterback grew up. Logan, he grew up each and every week and did a good job just giving what was there. And the receivers did a great job catching the ball this year. And I thought Coach Cisco and his staff did a tremendous job working with those guys and getting them ready. And they are a talented group. The tough part with this day and age is trying to keep them all now. It's people be coming after them.
Sure, and I know that the coaching staff also. I mean, they put in time with the freshman team, and then they're usually around on Friday nights with varsity. So it's extra work for them, but a great season that they put together.
Yeah, it was a really good season, and Alex Mitchell's group, his senior year, Alex Mitchell and Jamison Holcomb and all those guys graduated in 2021, and their freshman class, their freshman year, they won the county, and that's the last time we've ever won the county. So it's only the second time since I've been head coach that we've won the freshman championship, and so I was really proud of those guys, and it means something special. They were able to beat Oakland and Blackman in the same year, and they beat both of those teams twice. They had to beat them again in the playoffs and in the championship game, and that says a lot about that group. And because a lot of times it's hard in football, it's hard to beat a team twice. The Oakland game was 0-0 at halftime. The championship game was 0-0 at halftime, and they weren't getting frustrated, pointing fingers. They settled down, and then open the third quarter, they made plays and got in the end zone, and then saw the other team starting getting frustrated, and they just started capitalizing on their mistakes.
Corbin Reynolds told us this summer up at Nissan Stadium after winning that basketball state championship, going undefeated. He said, "Coach, I'm not used to losing. It's important that these freshmen get off to a good start this way because that builds that culture and builds what their expectations are as they move up."
Yeah, it is. It's really huge, like you said, just to establish that culture, establish that winning culture, and for them to understand, we talk about the standards of standard, and they're understanding it by now. They're practicing with us and learning how we do things, and a lot of those guys are talented, and some of them will even move up the depth chart. Some of them may even by a few weeks be this on the second team. Because they are that talented. That's who they are, and they're going to keep pushing. It was good to see yesterday after practice, Luke and Riley Talley working with some of the better freshman receivers yesterday, make it, because our playbook's a little bit different, the freshman's playbook, but they were working with Jaden, and Jaden's going to be really good for us. And Jaden's a worker like Luke, and Luke knows that him and Jaden could be special together. They got 3 more years together, and so I really enjoyed Gavin staying after with them last night, and those 3 working and teaching them just minded little things. So that was really good to see that the egos aren't involved, and so, pointing fingers and what are they doing? Those guys are working each other and for Riley Talley as a senior, helping Jaden Crawford to get better at receiver and to make sure he understands what's going on.
Big game on Friday night. We'll have it on the air. 7 o'clock, the kick. We'll be live over at Rockvale about 6:35. Of course, we'll do a replay of this coach's show. Coach, I wish you the best of luck. We're getting down to that crunch time of the season, regular season wrapping up, postseason to look ahead to. A lot coming up over the next few days, really. I mean, we're going to have that short week after this week playing on Thursday night. So get some rest, get some work in when you can. I know they're out of school today, but it's a sprint to the finish now.
It is. And while we got a few minutes, I'd like to thank Mr. John Lewis and the Booster Club and Miss Brooke White and Miss Tiffany Kane and the cheerleader for making a wonderful senior night for the seniors to enjoy, and John Lewis and the Booster Club we've had 6 home games. They've had concession stand stock. They've had freshman games, and they had 2 extra freshman home games this year because of the playoffs. And, we've had plenty of parents working the concession stands throughout the season. So it's been good to, a lot of parent involvement. A lot of people complain that they don't get enough help these days. And I feel like John Lewis with our Booster Club has done a good job rallying the troops and keeping parents involved and keeping parents help out and to make sure these kids are having success on and off the field and just providing them with opportunities that some programs don't get. And, you don't get that unless you get dedicated parents.
Well, it takes everyone. It takes a group of people. You can't reach those levels of success without. And so we certainly appreciate that. Thanks to all of them for making it possible. And thanks to you, Coach. I know it's time out of your schedule, but we appreciate it. And I know the Warrior Nation does as well.
Thank you.
That's going to do it for this episode of the Coach Will Kreisky Show. Remember, Warrior fans, be proud, be bold, be brave, and ever loyal. Until next time, for head coach Will Kreisky, I'm Chris Bosen. Thanks for tuning in. Good night.
This is the Coach Will Kreisky Show, a weekly showcase of highlights, interviews, and insights from Riverdale head football coach Will Kreisky. This is Riverdale football. All hail. Rising beside the waters of the Stones River, this hill honors all the brave and loyal warriors who've carried the Riverdale banner of red and gold forever forward since 1972. The wind echoes their names across the generations. Harrison, Davis, Bryant, Locke, Griffin, Beatty, Miller. Merely a few of the thousands whose blood, sweat, tears, and sacrifice forged a foundation of excellence spanning more than half a century. This is Riverdale football. 9 trips to the TSSAA state championship game. 4 Tennessee state championship titles. And 37 playoff appearances, a number unmatched by any Rutherford County school. Tonight, the brave, loyal warriors of this era rise together with the proud, bold spirits of the past to honor Riverdale's championship legacy and inspire the warriors of tomorrow. Together, our voices join with all those who've gone before to proclaim, "We will honor thee forever, Riverdale." All hail. Riverdale High School football 2025 is on the air. Now, from the Aero Sports Tennessee broadcast booth with tonight's game, here's your host, Chris Bosen.
The road to a region championship is clear for the Riverdale Warriors. It will require 2 victories and also a little bit of help from their friends being the Rockvale Rockets, the team they meet tonight. They'll need Rockvale to beat Blackman next week if Riverdale wants to claim the Region 3 6A title in 2025. That's the recipe. You have to beat Rockvale tonight. You have to win the Battle of Murfreesboro next week at Oakland, and you need Rockvale to beat Blackman next week in the season finale for the regular season. But the path to the playoffs is a little more clear. For Riverdale, they're essentially there. They need to pick up a victory. The likelihood, if they don't win the region, is that they'll be the number 3 seed, and that means a road game in the first round, but a nearby road game. We will talk about all of that as we go along tonight, though. Still 2 weeks of regular season football remaining. Tonight, it's the Rockvale Rockets and the Riverdale Warriors from the launching pad here at Rockvale High School. Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. I'm Chris Bosen. We are glad to have you tuned in on aerosports.mixler.com for our weekly audio broadcast. And as a road game this week, we are offering a simulcast over on the Aero Sports TN YouTube page. That is a trial situation. We usually do Warrior Media RHS when we are at Riverdale for games on YouTube, but on the road games, we do not have the luxury of having that simulcast, so we have it over on Aero Sports TN on YouTube for you. It is a Starlink-based broadcast, and so you have some internet connectivity that can be there, but if you want some visuals to go along with the audio for you, check it out on Aero Sports TN on YouTube. I am here, as always, with Ethan Marcum. And Ethan, we're still about 10 minutes away from kickoff in this contest. It's a big, big game tonight. Riverdale comes in at 6-2 overall, 4-1 in the region. Rockvale is at 4-4. They are 3-2 in the region. But since they dropped their first 2 games of the season, they've really come on strong. They are the only team in the region to have scored against Oakland, falling to the Patriots by a score of 35-14, and they're coming off an overtime victory last week against Tullahoma, 39-38. The Rockets are going to provide a big challenge tonight.
Absolutely, and they're hungry. I mean, you know that there's a lot for them to gain right now because they haven't exactly secured a trip to the postseason. You still have to gain that. And you look at the other side, obviously Riverdale trying to win out and then needing some help from Rockville next week to take the region title. But this is going to be a great game, and it's going to be a good test for Riverdale because the last few games they've played, they've gone up against some teams that were either going through some hardships with injuries or just not really having the season they wanted. This is a very different pace for this Warrior team.
Look, we could see a shootout tonight. I mean, the Rockets and the Warriors can both put up some points. And, you know, Rockvale comes in having scored 200 points this season. That's 25 a game on average through their regular season. They're allowing 213, 26.6 points per contest. Whereas Riverdale comes in having scored 239 points. That's just under 30 points per contest. They've only allowed 71 this season. That's 8.9 points per game. So the Riverdale defense we've known all season long, that's really what you can hang your hat on. It travels well. It's going to play well at home. It's going to play well on the road. There are some issues perhaps with the defense that we'll look for early on in the game. We will talk about that a little bit more here in our pregame. Offensively for Rockvale, though, they are a skill position team that has size. And we talked at the end of last week about their tight end, Dallas Paldo. He's a 6'4", 236-pound junior tight end. He wears number 8. A week ago in that overtime victory, he had 5 catches, 103 yards, a pair of touchdowns, and caught in overtime the game-winning 2-point conversion. That was not in a situation where they had to go for 2. That was where Coach Counts chose to go for 2 at the end of the first overtime, and the big tight end hauled it in. He's a guy that I think is going to challenge the Riverdale linebackers and their secondary because of his size.
Absolutely, and this is something that you don't see a lot for a lot of high school teams, right? The tight end position is not something that just grows on trees. Wide receivers you can get at the high school level because there's so many kids that have that athleticism and that size. But a lot of them don't have the same kind of athleticism at the size of a tight end. So a team that has one always poses a challenge, and they haven't really seen that this season for Riverdale. They haven't gone up against a guy of this caliber, and I would argue it's a really big challenge for Riverdale just stopping the pass in general. At least not challenge, but a worry, because the last few games, they've only gone up against teams that couldn't throw the ball, and now all of a sudden, you're going up against a team that's identity is pretty much air raid.
Yeah, the DBs are going to be tested tonight for the Warriors because the other receiver that the Rockvale Rockets like to throw to is R.C. Chia. He's a 6'1", 194-pound senior, 54 catches on the year, 924 yards, and 10 touchdown catches. Last week, he hauled in 5 catches, 153 yards, and 2 touchdowns, and they came right out of the gate, Ethan, throwing a big bomb on their first play. 10 seconds into the game, they had a touchdown on the board. So I think that the scoreboard operator could be busy this evening.
There's definitely a good chance of it. I mean, this is a team that has a lot of weapons, and Riverdale does too, so you have 2 offenses that are both built to put up points and put up points in bunches. I think the only thing to worry about here is that Riverdale has a consistent running game. It doesn't blow you away, but if they have to lean on it, they can. Rockville doesn't. So at what point, if the passing game doesn't start off strong, where do you try and move things around?
And the man pulling the trigger for Rockville is their quarterback, Jonathan Hamby, a 6'3", 215-pound senior. He transferred into Rockville. Against Tullahoma, he was 18 of 26 for 317 yards passing, 5 touchdowns on the year. Again, 6'3", 215. He also can run it. He will run it some. And we know that the challenge Riverdale has had with those dual threat quarterbacks. I don't know if I'd go so far as to tab him as dual threat, but he's got size, and he'll be tough to bring down if he gets outside the pocket.
They don't necessarily need him to be somebody who, you don't need him to be like Elliott over at Blackman, right, where you can lean on him to carry the ball and make plays just running from the line. But if he can get out of the pocket and extend plays with these receivers, that is a big enough challenge in its own for this defense.
For the Warriors, something to watch defensively is whether or not number 9 is suited up at the start of the game tonight. Czar Morris did not play last week on senior night, and he, of course, is part of that linebacking core that has done so well. Aiden Emmons, the leader there, often a captain for Riverdale. But we'll see if Czar Morris is in the lineup at the start tonight. Coach Kreisky had said he had kind of held him out that week, seeing if he can, dealing with just some nagging injuries and some nagging things, hoping to have him back. If not tonight, then for the big showdown in the battle for the Borough next week. The Riverdale offense, Corbin Reynolds, 664 yards receiving, 11 touchdowns on the year for the 6', 190-pound senior wide receiver on 33 receptions. He's joined by Luke Tritch in that receiving core, the 5'11", 170-pound freshman, 33 catches, 493 yards, 5 touchdowns. Ethan, you mentioned the running game. Jacob Vaughn is up to 487 yards rushing this season. He's averaging 6.6 per carry, 5 touchdowns. He's also got a touchdown receiving that he caught last week on a nice catch at the front corner of the end zone. And the man who makes it go for the Warriors is the quarterback, the 6'4", 190-pounder, Gavin Hampton. 21 touchdowns on the year against just 7 interceptions, 4 of those coming in the first game of the season. 1,837 yards passing on 117 of 198. He's also got 2 touchdowns and 79 yards rushing. He picked up an offer today.
Absolutely. Picked up an offer from Arizona State. That's an awesome offer. That's a program that's really trending in the right way. These last few years in college football, had a great year last season. It's awesome to see him pick up an offer from a really cool program, a really hot program that's really been on a roll lately. But you look at this offense and you see all of the weapons and there's all of the outlets, and you got to wonder, what does Rockvale have in this game that's going to slow down this offense? On the season, they've been outscored. If you look just in the numbers, as far as points per game, points allowed per game, they are being outscored by 1.5 points. They've got to find a weapon, or they've got to find a way to neutralize these weapons, and that's just going to be the biggest question for them. What do they have that's going to start?
Teams are just now making their way to their sidelines, the captains anyway, for the coin toss tonight. Rockville's going to be in gray uniforms tonight with blue numbers outlined in white. They've got gray jerseys, gray pants, white helmets with blue stripe down the center and that blue R on the side. And the captains stand there. They include Isaiah Inman, a 5'5", 195-pound senior. He is joined for the Rockets by Jerome Parker, a 5'9", 230-pound senior. Jackson Sonny, a 5'10", 240-pound senior, and rounded out with Logan Duncan, a 5'9", 230-pound senior for Rockvale, as it is senior night tonight here at the launching pad. And Riverdale's captains include Aiden Emmons, the senior, Corbin Reynolds, the senior. Now they turn out the lights completely. The other captains down there are Riley Talley, and I believe it was before they shut the lights off, Gael Lara, as the Rockets take the field here before we even have the coin toss. They race out from our right through that inflatable Rockvale Rocket helmet. And the captains are out at that power R at the 50-yard line with the official. He will toss the coin, and we will find out who will start with possession here tonight in the penultimate game of the 2025 season. And they toss the coin. The official catches it. He shows both teams. He's going to talk with Rockvale's Isaiah Inman. Rockets have won the toss. They will defer. So Rockvale wins and defers. And so Riverdale will get possession, Ethan. That gives us a good opportunity to talk about the keys to tonight's ball game.
Looking for Rockvale, you got to take what the defense gives you, because you know that Riverdale is going to expect you to throw the ball all over the field. They know you're not going to run it, so try and work in some intermediate passing. Don't stretch the field immediately. There's going to be opening lanes short. They're not going to try and focus in on your run. Take what they give you, and defensively, play a full 4 quarters. You got to stick with this offense all the way. If you let them get ahead, it's going to be tough. For Riverdale, you got to strike fast. You got to make some plays. Got to get off to a good start offensively, keep the momentum, and defensively, put some pressure on the quarterback. make him make a few mistakes, get him uncomfortable, and that should give you a good chance to come away with a win.
It was not Gael Lara, the fourth captain for Riverdale. It was Elijah Reams. So Elijah Reams, Riley Talley, Corbin Reynolds, and Aiden Emmons for head coach Will Kreisky were the captains tonight. Riverdale in their all-white look, coming off the all-black look from senior night a week ago. They got the white jerseys, white pants. They've got those cardinal red numbers front and back and the gold helmets with that Florida State spear on the side of the helmets. Beautiful stadium here at Rockvale as the Rockets put in that artificial turf at the same time Riverdale did a year ago. They now have artificial turf, and instead of the spear that Riverdale has that goes from one end zone to the other, the whole field here is that two-toned green. It's an American flag, so you have a full stars and stripes in that two-tone of green that covers the whole field. It's a pretty neat look that they've put in here at the launching pad. They're very proud of their military history, and that goes all the way back to World Wars and the number of people they had go off to fight, and it influenced the naming of the school as the Rockets. When it reopened as a school, it had been a school here before in Rutherford County and then came back online in 2019. They've got an enrollment of 2,255 students here. And Coach James Counts III is in his first season after spending 10 seasons as the head coach at Henry County, where he went 95-36. Ethan, he has won a state championship. He's had a state runner-up several times, getting his team to the semifinals as well. You know, he's a very experienced coach, and Coach Kreisky and him go way back because they were ball boys together at Henry County. They played together at Henry County. They know one another. And Coach Kreisky said this week, Coach Counts has turned it around quick at Rockville.
Absolutely. I mean, you can see it just by looking at the record. They were 2-8 last season. They're already a massive improvement. 4-4, 3-2 in conference play or region play. And, I mean, there's been a huge difference in the team, the attitude, the way that they play, the way that they approach each game. But the biggest thing is that right now, they have a chance to make it to the postseason.
Zayden Jones is going to be back deep for Riverdale in the middle of three deep men back at the 10-yard line. And Riverdale will kick it away. Isaac Troutman listed as the kicker, 6 foot, 185-pound sophomore. That's another piece to talk about as we go along tonight, Ethan, is the special teams units could play a big part in tonight's ball game, and I give Riverdale the edge there. Rockville's had some punting troubles, some kicking issues, and we've seen really solid special teams play from Riverdale. Troutman races forward, hits it at the 40, left to right. It will sail into the end zone and not be returnable over the head of Jacob Vaughn, and Riverdale will start 1st and 10 after the touchback. Hard to believe we're into mid-October now already. I guess you can say late October now. We're a week away from Halloween and just one more game in the regular season, Ethan. It finally feels like fallout.
Yeah, it took forever. I mean,
It did.
Last week I still feel like we were seeing a little bit of that 80s and high 70s weather, but we're finally getting into that fall weather. It's the best time of year.
1st and 10 at the Riverdale 20-yard line. Tonight's the night that I can't just write R's down on my play-by-play because I got Riverdale and Rockville. They'll start out 4 wide receivers for Gavin Hampton. Jacob Vaughn to the left of the quarterback. He looks right, hits Riley Talley. Riley Talley still on his feet, gets a couple of yards coming across the middle. They throw that little short pass, see if Talley can break some tackles. He's not able to. It'll set up 2nd down and about 8 after the completion from Hampton to Talley. And so they actually give him 3 yards, and so it'll be 2nd and 7 from the Riverdale 23. They will keep 3 receivers to the right this time, 1 to the left. Warriors go right to left here in the opening quarter. Snap to Hampton in the pocket, has time, all kinds of time. Now he looks upfield and just past Talley across the middle of the field up at about the 40-yard line. It may have been a bit behind him. Had he led him just a bit, that's a good completion.
Absolutely. If he puts that ball right there in front of him and he makes that catch, he had a lot of room to work with. We've seen Talley can break tackles and make plays. That could have been a huge game.
This being the first kind of cool night that we've had, Ethan, I think it's going to impact the passing game for these quarterbacks because we've been playing in such warm temperatures. On 3rd and 7 from the 23-yard line, movement up front, and there comes the flag as Hampton went with a bit of a hard count. It was movement on the right side of that defensive front. 4-3 defense offered up by Coach Counts here, and that free 5 yards will make it 3rd and 2, so a much more manageable 3rd down here for the Warriors.
Absolutely, that's huge right there. Gives you 5 yards, more than cuts it in half. Now all of a sudden you can do pretty much anything you want just to pick up a couple yards and get a first down.
So up to the 28-yard line it goes. They need to get it to the 30 to extend this drive. Hampton will walk forward, talk to the lineman. They stack a bunch of guys up close, do the Rockets here on this 3rd and short. Jacob Vaughn is on the right side of Hampton. Tritch near side on the right side with a pair of other receivers. 3 guys that way, 1 here on the near side. Snap, fake the give to Vaughn. Quick throw, and it's caught at the 40-yard line. And it is Luke Tritch, the freshman. That's a good catch because that throw was a bit low. Tritch went down and got it.
Very low. I mean, if that ball was a little bit higher, you might have been able to catch it, pick up a few extra yards, but just a great play by Tritch to go down, snag it, and pick up the first down.
They'll put it at the 40-yard line, so a gain of 12 for the Warriors to the 40. It'll be 1st and 10 from the 40-yard line. Hampton claps his hands. This time he'll give it to Vaughn, looking for running room right. Bounces it to the right corner, has room. 45-yard line, still on his feet as he slips a tackler, gets up to the 50. He'll be very close, and I think he got yet another first down. That was great vision for Vaughn there to get on the right corner when everything was plugged up in the middle.
He was able to get on that corner. He was able to find a gap, made another guy miss, and then turn on the Jets just to pick up that first down. That's what we were talking about, having a running game that you can rely on. He averages 6 yards a carry this season. And if things slow down in the passing game, he gives them a great bit of dynamics on offense.
Vaughn, just a sophomore, but Coach said he's not a sophomore anymore. We told him, we're treating you like a junior now. Turn the page, move it forward after that 5th game. And Jacob Vaughn putting together a nice sophomore season. 1st and 10 from midfield now. Ball is on the far hash. Hampton will work from the gun once again. 3 receivers to his left now, 1 to his right. Vaughn on his left. In the pocket, has time. Now the pocket breaks down, and he's going to be dropped over there as pursuit came from his right, and he is sacked. And he will be spotted back at the 47-yard line, so a loss of 3 will make it 2nd and 13. Good pressure there from the right side, and Hampton was unable to escape.
The defensive line did a great job getting off the blocks. That play took a little too long to develop, and he had nowhere to get free. That's a big, big play.
The sack costs 3 yards. Back to the Warrior 47-yard line. Still on that far hash, 4 wide receivers. Hampton takes the snap. They'll give to Vaughn, trying to run up the middle, but he can't find much running room there. You know, again, we talk about Rockvale having been the only team to score against Oakland. They held the Patriots to 35 points, and that's saying something. This defense believes in themselves.
Absolutely, and they were in that game for a while, too. They lost by 21, but it wasn't as if that was the story the entire time.
Just a 1-yard pickup for Vaughn will make it 3rd and long now, 3rd and 12 from the 48-yard line. They go hard count, no movement this time with those 3 down linemen, a 4-man front here as they've got someone coming off the left side of that defensive front. Hampton, 3rd and 12, in the pocket, looks to throw, fires it, has a receiver, and it's knocked out of his hands. I don't know if the defender got a hand in there to knock it away from Reynolds, but he could not come up with it. It would have been a first down. Instead, it's a punt time.
I think it may have been just more so the contact there that kept them being able to get comfortable and haul that in. That is a huge 3rd down stop right there. They're going to get the ball back without allowing any points on Riverdale's opening possession.
And right away, we'll see the special teams unit. It'll be Miles Weaver, the punter, coming in. And there's a couple men back deep for the Rockets. Cooper Dees is the long snapper for Riverdale, and Weaver would love to get off a good punt here. See if he can get a good bounce, prevent any return. Snap. Weaver from about the 26-yard line. It is a high kick. It's a beautiful kick. And if catch is called, there was a bit of contact down there. No flag came out, though. They'll have it about the 25-yard line. It was a beautifully high kick from Weaver.
Absolutely. There was no time to do anything with it. It wasn't a necessarily deep kick, but because it had so much hang time, they weren't able to field it and then set anything up.
So the ball will be spotted. I thought it was going to be up at the 25. It's actually going to be at the 23-yard line. So a 29-yard net on the punt. And it'll be the Rockets with 1st and 10 at 8:53 to go here in the first quarter. Hamby, a throw. They're going to look to that tight end once Dallas Paldo. And he hauls it in for a reception. And it gets it up to the 30-yard line. So Hamby to Paldo for 7, make it 2nd and 3 at the Riverdale 30.
And that's what we were talking about already. He is a big physical target. Not a lot of guys at the high school level with that size and that athleticism. He's going to pose a challenge.
Ball's on the far hash.
Rockets move left to right. Jonathan Hamby, the 6'3" senior quarterback. Going to hand it off this time. There's running room, and with a first down, the burst there for Reynolds. No, not Reynolds. D'Angelo George on the carry. And so George gets yardage up to the 35. And it'll be 1st and 10 from there. The number's a bit hard to read on the Rockvale gray uniforms with the navy blue on the gray and then outlined in white. Here's the snap to Hamby. Wants the quick throw to the near side here. Stiff arm, slips past the defender, and it is R.C. Chia. We talked about him. Chia and Paulo are the big weapons for Hamby, and they've gotten involved early here for Rockville.
Absolutely. You have one guy that you like to stretch the field with, obviously being Chia. He's fast. He's got a great size. They like to really target him down the field or use him on those quick little screens. And then obviously Paldo, such a big physical target. They can use him in that intermediate passing game. You got to lock down both of those guys, and it's really hard to lock down just one of them.
An 8-yard pickup up to the 43-yard line. We'll set up 2nd and 2 from there for the Rockets here. We're down at 8:01 to go here in the opening quarter. We're scoreless. First offensive drive of the night for the host Rockets. Snap to Hamby. He's going to hand it off, running right up the middle, spinning but coming up short of that line to gain at the 45. He'll be spotted at about the 44, and it's going to be 3rd and 1. Unable to pick up the first down there, but it's going to be 3rd and less than a yard here. Big opportunity on 3rd down to see what the defense can do for Riverdale.
Well, you know they're probably going to keep it on the ground. Just being with the short distance that it is, you've got to focus in on who's going to get it or what kind of formation you're going to get.
3rd and 1 from the Rockville 44-yard line, close to the near hash. From the gun, Jonathan Hamby. Now he'll move some guys over to the left side of the line. He's got a single receiver left, one to the right, and the H-back up on the left side. He'll hand it off, breaking through the line across the 50, and it is a tackle back there by Hudson Fuqua, but not before Rylan Hodges bursts through for that first down and gets the football into Warrior territory all the way to the 46-yard line. And so a gain of 10 on the play for Hodges. 1st and 10 now from the Warrior 46. Excuse me, 47. From the 47-yard line. So it's a 9-yard. Running right and sliding down, closing in Elijah Reams to make the tackle as George had the carry there, but he slid down right at the line of scrimmage at the 47.
Really impressed right now with the way this offensive line is opening up lanes for Hodges in the running game. We didn't really expect to see a lot of that, especially on the opening drive, but they're doing a great job really out physicaling this defense.
They gave Hodges a yard there to the 46. So 2nd and 9 from the 46-yard line. Glad to have you tuned in on aerosports.mixler.com. Snap to Hamby. Hand it off, running left, trying to turn the corner. Tikum Asongwe. Asongwe cannot turn the corner. Great pursuit over there for Riverdale as Zayden Jones got to him, and he could not turn the corner against Jones.
Just didn't have the speed. Jones is fast. It's hard to get around the edge when he's over there patrolling the side. This is going to bring up a big 3rd down. They're in enemy territory. If they can pick this up, they might be in field goal range.
3rd and 8 now from the Riverdale 45-yard line for Rockville. We're already down to 5:32 to go here in the opening quarter. We're scoreless, and as per usual, Ethan, I mentioned we could have a shootout, a big track meet tonight, and we're scoreless, 5:20 and counting to go here in the first quarter. Snap to Hamby on 3rd down and 8. Looks to throw and try to get it down that far sideline, overthrew his intended receiver. Look to see if there's any flags. I do not see any, and now it's going to be 4th down and 8 from the 45-yard line.
Yeah, there's a lot of physical contact on that pass right there, but it was really, initiated by the receiver. Both sides were really fighting it out. They let him play. I like the call by the refs to let him play that.
So Rockville will send their punt unit on. Zayden Jones will go back deep for Coach Will Kreisky at the 10-yard line. Ball is on the far hash. 4th and 8 from the 45-yard line. The kind of area of the field you beware of fake, but there is no fake. Pressure comes in. Punter does get it away. It'll bounce at about the 21-yard line and roll to the 20 and basically stop right there. They let it keep rolling, but it rolls right along the 20-yard line for the punter there, Jonathan Rodriguez, the 5'8", 170-pound freshman. I think you could see right there, Ethan, what we were talking about with that special teams unit. I think Riverdale has an advantage there, and Rodriguez got the punt away, but he was under heavy pressure.
It was very close. I mean, if one guy dives, that punt does not get away, and we have an entirely different play on our hands.
So 1st and 10 for Riverdale from the 20-yard line, 5:03 to go here, opening quarter. We're scoreless. Ball is on the near hash for Gavin Hampton, who's got Jacob Vaughn in the backfield with him. 3 receivers right, 1 to the left side. It is Braylon Burns left. Luke Tritch is close on the right side. Out wide right is Corbin Reynolds. Hampton looking to throw, looking left, trying to get it down to Burns. Burns at the 45-yard line, just out of his reach. And Ethan, it was maybe a foot too far, but I thought Burns had a shot on it.
I thought he did too. I think it was just that contact he had with the defensive back on his way, starting on the play. They both kind of got into it for just a second, and that slowed him down just enough to not be within reach of that pass.
Well, on the first drive, we saw the short passes coming across the middle, and offensive coordinator Justin Barnes takes the deep shot on this near sideline here this time, trying to open things up. We saw that last week when the running game was pinned down early by Siegel, and we've got a hold actually called here against Rockville. So a flag late, be a hold against the Rockets.
That's huge right there. It'll give them the first down, but you still wish you were able to make that play. That would have been potentially 6 if they connect on that pass.
So plus 10 on the hold. It'll be 1st down and 10 now from the 30. And so the hold does come into play there. They'll keep with the same formation. 3 receivers right, 1 to the left for Hampton. Vaughn takes the handoff, bounces it to the left side, turns the corner, 35 spin move on that Rockvale sideline, and gets it almost to the 40-yard line. He may be just shy, or did he get it there, and they're going to give him the 1st down? Maybe about a half-yard short?
I think they're going to give it to him. I think he may have gotten it, and it looks like they are going to move the chains.
They are, so he got it just the nose of the football, just touching the 40. Good run there from Jacob Vaughn. A 10-yard pickup on 1st and 10, and it'll be another 1st down, 1st and 10 at the Warrior 40. As we are already down to 4:51. Clock is stopped right now as Vaughn went out of bounds here on the near sideline. Hampton, 3 receivers right, 1 to the left. It's Reynolds out wide right. He looks right, looking for Tritch, and that one's off target. Tried to set up that little swing pass out to the freshman, and Hampton let him way too much there. So we're seeing a little bit like what we saw a week ago, where coming out of the gate, Hampton has not been as precise as he would like to be. But he got it dialed in last week en route to a 5-touchdown performance.
Yeah, and it feels like it's for 2 very different reasons, because last week he was on the run a lot. The pressure was getting to him. He had to make a lot of throws off balance, whereas right here, I mean, it's almost like we mentioned earlier, the weather. It just doesn't feel like he's got that same touch on these passes.
Well, this is, again, we haven't had weather like this yet, or really to even practice in, so to speak. And so on 2nd and 10 from the 40-yard line, they keep with 4 wides. That there was movement, and we're going to get a flag. That's going to push Riverdale back. I think we had motion on that far sideline. That's where that flag sits.
I believe you're going to be right. And yeah, they're going to move back about 5. The biggest thing that with this weather, normally, most of the time, when you get into this part of the year, it's a gradual decline in the temperature. It's slowly, it starts off 80s, then 70s, then 60s, then 50s. We went from high 70s, low 70s to 50s just like that.
Yeah, and they say we're headed down into the 40s, tonight. Everybody's got the hoodies out, blankets, caps. It is cool. 2nd and 15 after the penalty from the 35-yard line. Hampton now is pressured. He spins away from a would-be tackler. Rolls right, throws downfield, has his receiver. And Gavin Hampton made that play work. Corbin Reynolds on the other end, unable to bring Hampton down. I believe it was Melvin Boone had the pressure, had him dead to rights. Hampton slipped away and got a completion downfield all the way into Rocket territory at the Rockvale 36-yard line to Corbin Reynolds.
I mean, that is just a huge play right there. To be able to avoid what would have been probably would have killed the drive, turn it into a massive game, flip the field. And you got to be strong to shake that guy off as well.
29-yard pickup on the completion will set up 1st and 10 at the Rockville 36-yard line from the far hash. They'll hand it to Jacob Vaughn. Vaughn trying to pick his way through the line of scrimmage on the right side of that offensive line. Not much running room over there, but we know how Jacob Vaughn goes, as he often has to continue to kind of chip away until he can hit the big play.
Yeah, Vaughn's carries typically it'll be, 3 yards, 4 yards, 5 yards, 3 yards, 6 yards, 4 yards, and then 35. He breaks free. He has a pattern of chipping away until eventually he breaks one free.
So he did get 1 yard to the Rockville 35-yard line, did Vaughn. It'll be 2nd and 9 from there. From the gun. Takes the snap. Steps forward now, does Hampton. On the right side, he'll tuck it in, run, get to the 30. They lift him up to tackle the big 6'3", recently offered by Arizona State. The quarterback has added to his list of D1 offers. Mississippi State in there. I believe Louisville's in there. He's going to continue to attract attention. When you have 5 touchdown performances and he's eliminated the interceptions now, he's got a lot of attention on him, and it will only continue to grow. After the run, he gets it to the 30-yard line. It'll be 3rd and 4 from there. It was a 5-yard pickup to the Rockville 30. Hampton with 3 receivers left. It's Braylon Burns wide left. Tally is in the slot on the left, and Tritch in close. Corbin Reynolds on the right side all by himself, the short side of the field. They'll run toss. Jacob Vaughn on 25, runs into the back of his blocker Tally and gets it down to the 20. That was the best looking toss sweep play we've seen all year. I know coaches said they've been working on it at practice.
Well, they kind of faked that speed option, and Hampton looks like he's going to try and cut inside, immediately flips it back out, and there's nothing but green grass and running room for Vaughn, who picks up the first down. And then now we're in the red zone. They've really been better about it the last few games, but we've seen them struggle at this part of the field.
10-yard pickup for Vaughn there on 3rd and 4. Sets up 1st and 10 at the Rockville 20-yard line. We're down to 1 minute, 45 seconds to go here in the first quarter. We're scoreless, but Riverdale threatening. 3 receivers right, 1 to the left. Hampton claps his hands, has the football, looks, and it's batted down at the line of scrimmage. The height of Melvin Boone, 6 foot, 250-pound senior defensive end, got up and swatted that one down as it was ticketed for the end zone.
Yeah, and those are plays you always get a little bit nervous about as soon as the ball gets tipped. A lot of things can happen. There was no one in the area to pick it off, but that's a good stop on 1st down.
Well, you get your hands up in the passing lane, and this is, the skill position players for Rockvale are big, and they're using that size, and they're using their athleticism, and you can understand why they gave Oakland such a battle a few weeks ago.
When you have a build, when you're built like a football team, it's hard to get blown out in games. It's hard to not stay up with most of your opponents because you just have that size.
It'll be 2nd and 10 from the 20-yard line. 3 receivers right, 1 to the left. Here on the near side, it's Braylon Burns. Hampton, flush from the pocket, rolls right, looks for his outlet receiver, Vaughn. Vaughn on the far sideline, spins, maintains his balance with a hand on the artificial turf. He goes out of bounds at about the 16-yard line. It'll be 3rd and 4, but boy, Jacob Vaughn, his evolution this year from kind of the raw talent we saw early to really being a playmaker has been fun to watch.
The biggest thing is week by week, it feels like his balance gets better. He's so hard to tackle, not because of size, but because he stays on his feet.
So 4-yard pickup makes it 3rd and 6 from the 16-yard line. On the far hash, Reynolds is on the far side of the field by himself. Vaughn in the backfield with Hampton. Tritch is on the near side on the left. Burns wide left, Tally slot to the left. Snap, Hampton, pocket, looks to throw towards the end zone, looking for Tally, but it's over his head. It was into double coverage. It was going to be a very tough connection to make down there. Great coverage from the DBs for Rockvale.
Yeah, it's a tough play to make right there. That throw out of his reach and also on the trajectory through it. That's not going to be an easy pass to catch. It's low. It's not high. He doesn't have an opportunity to go up and snag it. Just not the best position to put your receiver in.
4th and 6 from the 16. It brings on the kicking unit. Miles Weaver, the senior, out of the snap of Cooper Dees. The hold of Jake Rolling from the 23-yard line on the far hash. It's a low kick. It is no good. I believe it sailed wide left. It was low from the right hash. He was trying to kick it back across, and it was wide. And again, the temperatures could play a role with the kickers, with the holding. We're still scoreless, though,
as a 33-yard attempt is no good for Miles Weaver with 1:18 to play here in the opening quarter. We remain scoreless. So all of our talk of all the points and the great special teams play and all of that, meaningless, Ethan.
So far, it has been. I mean, these defenses are really stepping up. And there is such a thing as playing up to your competition on both sides of the ball. And right now, I believe that's what we're seeing.
Wide left for Miles Weaver, and Rockville will take over 1st and 10. They will hand it off quickly. And you notice also the pace of the game, Ethan. They got right to it. I think the temperatures have everybody wanting to move it along quickly as well tonight. They're not lackadaisical down there.
Well, there's that, and there's also the idea of, well, keep your guys warm.
Yeah.
I mean, the more they're moving around, the more hot they're going to be, the more warm, the more loose they're going to be instead of this standing around waiting on the play. So kind of, keeping everybody in the rhythm. And also, hurry up has worked against this defense, and I'm sure they've seen that on tape.
3-yard pickup to the 23-yard line, set up 2nd and 7 from there on the near hash for Jonathan Hamby. The quarterback takes the snap. He'll hand it off. They keep it on the ground. Met right in the hole by Aiden Emmons. Emmons was there as well as others for Riverdale, but they drove, as Jeremy Thompson in there, drove the ball carrier back, and it is Thompson in. I do not see Czar Morris in the lineup right now. We mentioned he was out last week, so with the cold temperatures, I wonder if Coach may have held him once again. It sets up 3rd down here from the 24-yard line. It'll be 3rd and 6 from the Rockville 24 after the 1-yard pickup on 2nd down. Hamby, 3 receivers left, 1 to the right, but we may not get a snap off here. Down to 4 seconds to go first quarter. 2-1, and that will be it. At the end of the first quarter, your score in the shootout at the launching pad, Riverdale nothing, Rockville nothing. Just exactly like we predicted in the pregame.
Not at all. Not at all. I mean, we expected both these offenses to come out, but this is, and we keep talking about the weather, and I'm sure we're going to talk about it more throughout the night. That's the biggest thing, is that I think both teams probably just don't feel comfortable. I mean, we went from 70s and 80s to straight down into lower 50s. It's going to be into the 40s by the end of the night. I mean, this is a very different climate for both these teams to be playing in.
And who likes it, though, are the defense. The defenses enjoy playing in the cold weather, and I think that's the other part we overlook. We mentioned, Riverdale has put together such a fine defense this year in terms of what they're doing. They're only allowing 8.9 points a game in the regular season. But Rockville's defense has been allowing 26.6 per game. Again, they held Oakland to 35. They beat Stewart's Creek 31-10. They defeated Laverne 30-6. Their 2 losses at the start of the year were to Independence 37-23, and then they lost at Station Camp 32-31. The one that surprises me, Ethan, is on September 19th at Smyrna. They lost 41-11. That's a surprising score, having seen Smyrna this season. But that was before Smyrna lost their quarterback, some different things. 3rd down here as we start the second quarter, moving right to left. The Rockets, that pass is incomplete from Hamby, and it will set up another punt opportunity. And an opportunity now to see if Riverdale can make a big play on special teams. They got close on the first punt from the Rockets.
All they need to do here, it depends on what they want to do. If they go after him, try and block the punt, they definitely have a chance. I mean, they almost got to that first one. If they want to set up and return something, they've got Jones back there. He's their dynamic return man, a lot of speed. He's shifty. So it'll be interesting to see what they go with, but I think they're going to go after him, try and see if they can knock this thing back into the end zone.
And so they have a man back deep at the 50-yard line, do the Warriors. And everybody else is up close, like they're going to bring the heat. 3 blockers in front of the punter, who stands at his 10. He moves to his right, just does get it away. It's a low punt. It sails right into the Riverdale sideline on that far sideline, and the Warriors will start 1st and 10 when the official stops walking forward. Where's he going to? All the way to the 36-yard line, Ethan, and that's going to give Riverdale excellent field position out of the gate.
When you're able to put pressure on the punter, they got to get it away quickly, and that doesn't always lead to good contact. That's what happened there. He just kind of hit it towards the side of his right foot, and it kind of goes out of bounds. He just shanked it. When you have that pressure on him, there's not much they can do.
Just a 12-yard net, 1st and 10 from the 36-yard line for the Warriors. 11:49 to go here, first half. We're scoreless, but Riverdale going to try to take advantage of that poor punt and see if they can get points on the board here after missing a field goal on their last possession. Snap to Hampton from the far hash. He'll run forward, flush from the pocket, and be dropped right there as Hampton goes down. Getting in for the sack, Dallas Paldo, that 6'4", 236 junior. He plays both ways. he's a load to handle. He's tough to block, he's tough to tackle, and he sacks Hampton here on 1st and 10.
Well, he fits the build for both a defensive end and a tight end. I mean, he fits it perfectly, and when you have the speed to play either position, it's dangerous. That's another sack on Hampton. They're having a great job, or great success, I should say, against this offensive line early on.
Loss of 2 make it 2nd and 12 with the Rockvale 38-yard line. From the gun, they'll hand it to Vaughn. Vaughn going to look for running room on the left side this time. He's tracked down from behind, though, after he gets to the 36, back to that original line of scrimmage, and it'll be 3rd and 10 from the 36-yard line as Vaughn picks up 2 on the carry. But not much working right now for the Riverdale offense. This is a very good defensive game plan from the Rockvale Rockets.
Absolutely. I mean, they're really dictating what Riverdale can do at the line of scrimmage. That's really where it starts. They're getting great pressure on Hampton. They're really closing off these receivers, not giving them a lot of leeway. Now, there have been a few plays here or there. If you make it, changes this game. But so far, their game plan has worked to perfection.
We're in the second quarter. We are scoreless. 3rd and 10 from the Riverdale 36-yard line. Hampton takes the shotgun snap. Looking downfield, he's flushed from the pocket. They grab him up by the collar, and he's picked off. But is there a penalty flag going all the way the other way? R.C. Chia will take it the other way for a pick 6. I thought they had him up on the horse collar, Ethan. Press pause.
Yeah, I mean, I didn't see anything going on, didn't see a flag. I mean, it looked like it would be close. You know, I mean, you got a hand so high up, you can either call horse collar or even potentially a face mask, but he got him by the jersey. There's no call. What a great play. Hampton tried to force it over to Vaughn, and it goes back the other way, and that is a huge swing of momentum.
Totally. Chia took it back the other way. They got it on the interception. Rockville takes the lead here. You can always tell when you're where you're at based on, you know, there's no cheering in the press box, right? Like, you know, you work MTSU games. That's the rule, yes?
Yeah, we've kicked a few people out for it, and it's, you know, there's...
Yeah, that's the thing. You just have a certain expectation. It's when it's a couple, when it's the whole room, it's a different thing. So they'll come on to kick the extra point. Snap, kick is up. And the Rockets are in front, 7-0 with 10:16 to go on the pick 6 from the big R.C. Chia, 6'1", 194-pounder. We talked about him transfer. We mentioned his name at the outset. Big players make big plays. He's certainly one of the stars for this Rockvale team. And he gets them on the board first here. They lead 7-0 in the second quarter. And so great field position does not turn into points for Riverdale. Instead, they find themselves trailing.
Yeah, I mean, that's just, and a lot of that right there is going to be on Hampton. I mean, you know that you got the pressure coming to you. You're about to go to the ground. Sometimes you just have to eat that and take the result of the play, but you try and force it over to Vaughn. It was a pass that had way too much on it. It was an easy interception, and there was no one back there to even get close to him.
You could see it unfolding as he scrambled and trying to make a play. And, you know, he's been under pressure throughout the night. We've talked early on about his decision-making from the start of the season. That's the first interception he's had in several games. His decision-making and not trying to force it. He tried to force that one and paid the big price.
Absolutely. I mean, you just, like I said, sometimes you got to accept the result of a play. It's tough. You know, you never want to accept that you're going to lose a few yards, take a sack, but you have to take what the defense gives you at times.
So now we get a little bit of a stoppage here on the sudden change. And we'll see how Riverdale responds. You know, you had talked about how the past few games have been more blowout type games for the Warriors. They haven't been in some of those close games. Rockvale has been in those close games. They've been building as the season unfolds this year. They believe in themselves. They've been a little more tested. They play overtime last week. Their coach goes for 2. They get it. They're playing with a lot of confidence and a lot of urgency because they're trying to stay out of that 3-way tie for the postseason, and a victory tonight would essentially lock them in and be sure that they stay out of that 3-way tie.
Well, I mean, it's a difference in the way that your schedule's gone, right? Because you look at the schedule and you see the record, and you see, obviously, Riverdale's had a better season so far based off just the record, but there's something to be said for a team that's consistently being tested and going in these tough games like Rockvale, whereas if you look at Riverdale, they're not ready for a competitive matchup. Because the last few games they've had, it's been 44-7, 35-7, 41-7, 31-13, 37-0, right? They've been blowing teams out. Naturally, if you go up against a team that's prepared to play in a close game, they're going to come out and they're going to hit you in the mouth to start things off.
So now the special teams unit will have an opportunity as the kickoff squads for both teams come out, and they're going to back this up. There's a penalty been assessed against Rockvale. Push them back to the 25-yard line.
for the kick here. So again, Riverdale will have an opportunity, but we saw them squander great field position after the poor punt. Riverdale threw the pick 6 as Chia took it all the way back for the touchdown. Kick will be fielded at the 15-yard line. Across the 20, 25, 30, 35, 40, breaking through, 45, 50. And Zayden Jones is brought down in Rockvale territory. We know that the special teams can be a key, but let's see now how the offense can respond after giving up that pick 6. And here's another
down
flag.
there. There's some extracurriculars, and I believe that might be on Riverdale.
Well, you can see they're already jawing both ways. And it's a lot of bouncing around, a lot of life. So the football is at the 47-yard line of Rockvale.
It's going to be really frustrating if that's on Riverdale because that's going to essentially negate the big return.
Down to 10:08.
And it is.
And let's see where it's from. So they're moving back 15. It's still decent field position, but not starting in Rockvale territory. So the penalty against Riverdale.
That's tough right there. I mean, you had starting field position was going to be on the other side of the field. You're just past the logo. You're at midfield. And now all of a sudden it's going to back him up yardage. It's going to make this drive a lot harder than it needs to be.
So Riverdale takes it all the way back to the 38. So they'll have it 1st and 10 from there. We're at 10:08 to go here in the first half. Rockets in front 7-0, and Warriors trying to respond after giving up the pick 6 on their last play from scrimmage on the offensive side. They'll work left to right from the near hash here. Hampton, the quarterback, will shift Vaughn to his left side. They're going to bunch receivers up in close on that left side. Trio in close on the line with single receiver on the near side. They're going to pitch it out to Vaughn, running left. There's a penalty flag down. That's going to be a hold on the left side, and Vaughn gets forced out of bounds, but they'll back it up 10 yards once again. Nothing going well for the Riverdale offense right now, Ethan.
Absolutely not. Everything pretty much coming out and falling flat for this offense. You had the missed opportunity on special teams to put up 3 points, start things off. There's the pick 6, and now back-to-back penalties are really going to cost this drive.
Yeah, it was all the way up 48-yard line in Rockvale territory. And they'll move it back even further. And we've seen this before on drives as well, where Riverdale, hurts themselves and they move backwards. This pushes it all the way back to the 29 for the Warriors. And they need to get it to the 48 for the first down, so it'll be 1st down and 19 from the 29-yard line. 3 receivers right this time, 1 to the left. Ball's to the far hash. Vaughn on the right side of Hampton, claps his hands, takes the snap. Wants to set up a screen, gets it to Vaughn. Vaughn tripped up at the 35-yard. Still on his feet, though. He's maintained his balance, got across the 40. We'll see where they spot him down. Again, great balance from the sophomore back.
I mean, that's just the story of his season, right? He's hard to tackle because he finds ways to stay on his feet. Is there another flag on the play?
It looks like it is, and they look like they'll march it off against Riverdale. He got it to the 44. Which would have been 15 on 1st and 19.
I mean, I never even saw a flag come out. That's the thing.
No one sees one. Something off against Riverdale because he's facing to our left. 9:43 to go first half. We're at Rockville on senior night. They had a great senior night ceremony for the Rockets beforehand through the balloon arch at the 50-yard line and honored all of their student athletes. The officials talking about it out there, and I have no idea, Ethan. I don't think anybody does because we don't have the luxury of a communication with the officiating crew.
You mean we're not like the ACC?
No.
What are you talking about? I mean, I thought we would, I thought we had that set up.
No.
But, I mean, I don't know how you can mark anything off if you don't throw a flag down. That's the biggest thing. I mean, there are rules with officiating, and if you don't throw a flag down, you can't necessarily call that there's a penalty.
They are certainly talking about it for a long time to see, and this is a delay that we have not had on this cool. Is it fair? Is it beyond cool? Have we reached cold yet, do you think?
I don't think we've reached cold yet.
Okay.
But it's very cool. I think we're at chilly. I think we're getting close to chilly, but I wouldn't say cold.
That's good. It might be a good weekend for some chili as you start to get into that fall soup and chilly weather.
got a lot of good football this weekend coming up. And so we will look forward to those things. Vanderbilt hosting College Game Day tomorrow before they play Mizzou in a game that basically could be a potential play-in game for the college football playoff. Those are two teams trying to stay in that hunt, both at 6-1, the Commodores and the Tigers. And then now they're going to turn around and march this off against Rockvale.
And again, I just, if you don't throw a flag, I don't know how you call a penalty. You know?
The penalty against Rockvale takes it to the 41-yard line. That's a 15-yard penalty. It'll be 1st and 10 from that Rockvale 41-yard line. No idea. None of us have any idea what the call is.
I mean, I can hear because I saw the signal.
Sometimes they make up their own signals. Snap, 1st and 10. Hampton looking to throw left side, single coverage, coming back on the back shoulder throw to make the catch inside the 10 is Braylon Burns. Burns got to it. And what a throw and catch that was. Burns had to turn around, single coverage, and the connection there from Hampton to Burns will set Riverdale up 1st and goal all the way down to the 7-yard line. So 1st and goal at the Rockvale 7 on the far hash. It's a 34-yard pickup to set up 1st and goal. They'll go 3 receivers right, 1 to the left. Vaughn is on the left side of Gavin Hampton. Snap, Hampton wants to throw, throws to Vaughn, front corner, crosses the plane, and touchdown Riverdale as Jacob Vaughn hauled it in. That looked like the same play they ran for a touchdown a week ago. Ethan, this time though, the throw was able to be caught before he got to the goal line, stepped across the plane, and the Warriors are a point away from tying this ball game up with 8:53 to go in the second quarter. That was a nice response offensively on that drive for Riverdale.
Absolutely. And the biggest thing we're seeing so far early in this game for this offense, Jacob Vaughn has been the focal point of the game plan so far, and they finally get up on the board to tie things up.
Critical extra point here. D's to rolling. Weaver hits it, and it is good. So the point after try is true with 8:53 to go before halftime. We are all even now, 7-7 after the 7-yard touchdown to Jacob Vaughn from Gavin Hampton.
So I got a ruling, or I was able to, illegal participation. Now, what that would imply would be that a player goes out of bounds, came back into the play afterwards. But again, if you don't throw a flag for it, you can't rattle off yardage. That's just, I mean, that's basic officiating. Even if you like throw it down and then immediately go to talk,
the
you
tackle
have to.
on the play where he was forced out of bounds on the far sideline, which is the Riverdale sideline. And so I'm sure a coach saw if a player got out of bounds and then came back in to make the stop or something like that, perhaps that is what happened. That, or I suppose, and I haven't checked this at all, I wouldn't think they had a situation of dual numbers being on the field at the same time. I did not see that being the case, but that could be another type of illegal participation.
The other side of it too is that why did it take so long to talk about that?
Right.
I mean, if a guy goes out of bounds, the guy goes out of bounds. It doesn't take a whole committee to determine that.
Yeah, that's a 4-play drive, and it started at the 38-yard line. Here's the kick. Fielded at the 5. Across the 15, across the 20, and a tackle there at about the 25-yard line. Rockville will start 1st and 10, but a 4-play, 62-yard drive. It had some penalties in there as well that pushed it back even further. But off the clock, as it started at the 10:08 mark, just a minute and 15 seconds off the clock for the score, and here come the Rockets to see how they can respond. We're tied once again. They have it 1st and 10 at the Rockville 31-yard line with 8:46 to go first half. They'll keep it on the ground, but no running room up front. It's at the 26-yard line, actually. And so the 26, no gain there, and 2nd down. And 10 now. After the 1st down, no gain.
Ball's right between the hash marks here as the Rockets go right to left. Jonathan Hamby will operate with single receiver left, single receiver right. They got the H-back on the right side and a back with him. Wants to throw left. Zayden Jones intercepts that at the 31-yard line. Intended receiver was R.C. Chia, but maybe some miscommunication there because Hamby threw it short right to Jones. Chia was behind on that route.
And it looked like just one of those kind of option routes where he can either sit or he can go. He's decided to go more further downfield, didn't sit on it. And that's a massive miscommunication that's going to be potentially costly. That's going to give him the ball on the other side of the field.
Jones
after putting up points
had to get down low to make the interception. Otherwise, he takes that one back to the house on a pick six. But Riverdale will start 1st and 10 at the 31-yard line. Can the Warriors capitalize? 1st and 10 at the Rockville 31. The 8:03 mark. Tie ball game. Near hash for the Warriors. 3 receivers to the left of Gavin Hampton. Claps his hands. Single receiver right. Looking left. Now he's flushed from the pocket. He will throw it short to Riley Talley as an outlet receiver. As he went through his progression right before he was knocked to the ground. Talley hauls it in for a short gain to the 26-yard line. So a 5-yard pickup, and it'll be 2nd and 5 for the Warriors. Talley was the outlet man there, Ethan, and that's that decision-making. Hampton, you have to make quick choices against this Rockville team. They're quick.
They've got a great pass rush. I mean, they're going to get past your offensive line at a certain point. If plays take too long to develop, they're going to be able to get pressure on the quarterback. He has to be able to make these quick decisions. He struggled with it in the first quarter, but he's looking a lot better as this game is starting to go on.
We also have seen that toss sweep play be effective as their defenders get up the field quickly and get around the corner. Let's see if they might go back to that. 2nd and 5 here from the 26-yard line. 4 receivers. They'll roll right, roll the option. Hampton going to keep it himself. Outrun a man at the 15, inside the 10. Gavin Hampton just ran the option with Jacob Vaughn, and Hampton took it himself for a big, big pickup on 2nd and 5.
Well, it worked perfectly because they ran it earlier with Vaughn, and he pitched it to Vaughn. So this defense is already expecting it's going to be the same thing. They don't think they've got the same kind of a mobile quarterback they're dealing with as other teams. But he keeps it for himself, cuts through the gap, and picks up a huge gain. They're now down inside the 10.
So it's a 19-yard pickup. 1st and goal from the 7-yard line. 6:50 to go first half. We're tied 7-7, but the Warriors threatening. Gavin Hampton, 3 receivers left. Corbin Reynolds on the right side, the short side of the field. It's Tritch close on the left side. Talley slot left. Now we're going to get a timeout, I think. There was a lot of confusion there offensively of what they wanted to run, and it's an important series of downs here. 1st and goal from the 7, so a timeout for Riverdale will be the first of the ball game. It'll leave Coach Kreisky with 2, and it comes with 6 minutes and 36 seconds to play here in the first half of a tie ball game. Glad to have you tuned in on aerosports.mixler.com, and we're watching on our simulcast on Aerosports TN on YouTube. We have had such a great year with Warrior Media RHS providing the home simulcasts, and we expect to extend that into basketball season. We hope to be able to bring you some basketball coverage of Warrior and Lady Warrior basketball games. We hope to be able to have some coverage in the spring of softball and baseball, and I hope you'll join us on those. Remember to stay with us at halftime. We will have our 615 Prep scoreboard, update of scores from around the area. There are some key games, not only in the region, but in the region that will be the first round opponent. That's out of Region 4-6A, as you've got some seeding that might be decided a bit tonight, or at least an edge on that seeding. We'll look into all those scores. You're at that crunch time of year now, Ethan. Some seasons are going to start winding down.
Yeah, and this gets to be the fun part where you have to do all the math and figure out, okay, well, if this team wins, are they out? And if this team wins, does it cross out another? And there's so much that goes into it. But it's arguably the most fun 2 weeks of the whole season.
Well, and we'll check in and see if we can get a baseball score as well. The World Series. Nashville Soccer Club playing tonight down against Inter Miami. Here's the 1st and goal play. Hampton throws to the end zone. Reynolds elevates. Reynolds hauls it in. And the big man from Loretto adds to his touchdown totals here in 2025. He puts Riverdale in front at the 6-minute, 30-second mark of the second quarter with a 7-yard touchdown pass from Gavin Hampton. Riverdale now in front 13-7. Extra point is pending. And Corbin Reynolds can go up and get the football the same way he would go up on the basketball court and pull down a rebound.
Well, you know, for a lot of play callers, it's basic math. If you have a receiver who can go up, be physical, and jump ball, you just lob it to him, and that's exactly what they did there in the red zone.
So the Warriors
Extra point is good here by Miles Weaver out of the hold of Jake Rolling and the snap of Cooper Dees. They respond, get the takeaway on the interception by Zayden Jones to set it up at the 31-yard line. They have a 3-play, 31-yard drive to get the touchdown, capped by the Hampton to Reynolds 7-yard touchdown pass. And it took only a minute and 33 seconds off the clock, and some of that was just bleeding some time off, taking a timeout in between. But a terrific offensive response since the pick six that Rockville used to get on the board first.
Absolutely. It feels like something just clicked. You know, they were really struggling that whole first quarter. They didn't look like themselves. You had the missed field goal, and then you throw the pick six. Everything isn't really looking great. And then there's the penalties that throw you back, and then all of a sudden, everything just clicks.
And Coach Kreisky has talked about that as well before, about just going over and say, guys, just play Riverdale football. Don't try to hit the big play every time. We don't have to get a home run every time. Just play Riverdale football. And they have settled down these last couple drives. The interception by Zayden Jones gives them great field position. They also capitalize on that penalty to get some good field position. And now they lead 14-7 with 6.5 to go before intermission. This kick is short. It'll bounce inside the 20 and be fielded at about the 15. Some running room, and then it'll be stopped across the 25, still dragging defenders up to about the 29-yard line, however, on the return. And Rockville will start 1st and 10. Now Hamby's got to respond after throwing the interception himself on the last possession.
Yeah, and this is arguably the most important offensive drive of the ballgame up to this point for Rockville offensively. You got to put up points in response, right? Because you got lucky, you got the pick six. Not really lucky, but you made a big play, right? And now your offense has still been shut out to this point. You got to go down the field. You got to respond, at least to keep momentum, because this offense for Riverdale right now, the way they're playing, they might score on every possession closing out the half.
Well, after a scoreless first quarter, we've certainly had some offensive fireworks here in the second quarter of play. Hamby takes the shotgun snap, hands it off, pressured into the backfield, and there to drop the ball carrier is one of the defensive stalwarts for the Riverdale Warriors. It is Caleb Woods, the 6'2" senior defensive lineman. And that tackle for loss just gets added into his column. He's having a great year.
Yeah, and he slung him down there, too. I mean, he really got back there, made a big hit on the ball carrier.
The loss of 2 will take it back to the Rockville 27-yard line and set up 2nd and 12. From there, I have a real hard time reading the Rockville numbers. I got to admit, Ethan, they are not easy to see on those gray jerseys. Handoff this time, tailback, and once again, they try to run right into the middle of that defensive front, and forced backwards is the ball carrier. It is Hodges on the carry, but he's got no running room between the tackles right now.
They're setting up a big play opportunity here, though. They're running the ball. Riverdale's starting to creep back up. They're going to sit back a little bit with it being 3rd and long, but you have an opportunity to take a shot here in the next few plays, especially if this defense is going to try and hone in on your run game.
Loss of 1 there by Hodges will make it 3rd and 13. Look out here. You've got Chia and Paldo, the big receivers, the wide receiver, and the tight end, as they will send Lewis wide to the right side. Chia is here on the near side. Paldo on the right side of the line, and we're going to get a timeout. Timeout, Rockville. This is an important 3rd and 13 from the 26-yard line at the 5:02 mark. The Rockets do not want to punt this right back to the Riverdale offense.
No, I mean, the worst thing you can do here is go 3 and out, right? For momentum, for where you're at in the ball game right now, the worst thing you can go is 3 and out. You want to put up points, even if you put up just 3, right? Any kind of a response would be huge for where the momentum is at this point in the game.
So the timeout for Coach Counts is his first. He'll have 2 remaining, as do the Warriors. 5:02 on that nice replay board, that new replay board. Rockvale got the new turf a year ago. They've got a nice color board and a scoreboard. They do a good job here at Rockville. I've enjoyed coming out here over the past several years, several seasons. I remember when they were still natural grass here before they put in this beautiful artificial surface. Concessions are always great at Rockvale.
I mean, you know my thoughts on natural grass, but
yeah,
you know,
yeah. But I remember coming there and seeing it when it was that way. Out of the timeout, 3rd and 13. Let's see what Riverdale wants to do up front. Beware the big play here. Jonathan Hamby, the quarterback, will have 2 receivers right, 1 to the left.
back on his left side. He wants to throw. He's under pressure. Sets up a screen to Paldo, but they sniff it out. Aiden Emmons wraps him up. They had Emmons right on the big tight end, and Emmons drops him before he could even get back to that original line of scrimmage, and it's 4th and long, punt time for the Rockets.
And honestly, I like that play call, honestly, because you're trying to sneak something short. You know they're going to expect for you to take a shot and stretch the field. If you go short with that physical tight end, there's a good chance you could at least get it close to the marker to gain, but they sat Emmons back in coverage. He sniffed it out and made the play, and this is a huge opportunity for this special teams unit for the Warriors.
So they get just 2 to the 28. It's 4th and 11 from that 28-yard line. Snap is high, punt is away. It's not a great one. It'll bounce at the 42-yard line of Rockvale and kick out of bounds before Zayden Jones. No, maybe it didn't go out of bounds. It might have stayed in. It's got a weird spin on it, like a weird golf ball spin. It rolls all the way up to the 50. I thought it went right out of bounds.
Yeah, that's one thing I've noticed about their punter. I mean, the way that he punts the ball, it's kind of more of a knuckleball. You know, there's different ways that you can spin it. A lot of guys try and put backspin on it, but that's something that if you're able to get more consistent punts, it's really tough for a fielder to gain. But with the pressure they're putting on this punter, there's not really much he can do with it.
Mark down that stop by Aiden Emmons there on the completion to Paldo, because if Paldo gets a head of steam going, he can pick up that first down there on that. And Emmons wrapped him up quickly. Great open field tackle, because he had to make a solo one-on-one tackle against the big tight end.
I mean, he got down, he went after the leg. That's the easiest thing to do with those guys, is to not try and play the, the strength versus strength game and go after the shoulders. If you can wrap them up on the legs and at least slow them down, they'll be able to get to him. And I don't really know what this delay is.
We've got another conversation, officials conversation on that far side. And I wonder, again, this is something that happened on the Riverdale sideline. Did that ball kick to the out of bounds and then roll? Because it gained about another maybe 6 yards or so. It was right over there. Maybe that's what they're talking about. Again, we don't know, but they are certainly spending a lot of time discussing it, are the officials, as they're also getting ready for postseason, and they will have much more scrutiny. There's the flag. It's back at the 40.
Okay.
Yard line. The officials were standing in front of it.
Let's see what he's got.
And it looks like it's going to be against Rockvale.
It's a hold.
Hold against the Rockets. And so they would have had it at the 50, so there was a holding against Rockvale. It would have been a 22-yard net. But it'll holding Rockvale 10. It'll be 1st and 10 from the Rockvale 40. 4 minutes, 13 seconds in the second quarter. 2 timeouts for Coach Will Kreisky. He's got a 14-7 lead. Remember, Rockvale won the toss. They did defer tonight, so the Rockets will get the football to start the second half. Hampton from the gun, looking to throw. Here comes pressure. He'll be dropped all the way back to the 50-yard line. That is a big sack. And
I'm trying to get the number 2.
Melvin Boone. Again, the 9s and 8s, very tough. But that looked like Melvin Boone, the 6', 250-pound senior. They've got some great defensive ends here at Rockville.
Absolutely. I mean, I've been harping on the whole game. This defensive line has been great so far against a Riverdale offensive line that over the last 2 games looked like they'd finally figured it out and put things together. But these Rockets are really giving them a hard time.
That's a 9-yard loss on the sack. It'll be 2nd and 19 from the Rockville 49-yard line. 3:35 and counting here. So now you play it, a bit of a game knowing you don't want to give this football back to Rockville with a lot of time and 2 timeouts, because they could have a chance to double up on the scoreboard. So you're trying to do a couple things here in the final 3 minutes, 20 seconds of the first half. Hampton to throw, 2nd and 19 down the middle. Luke Tritch catches it at the 20, inside the 10, inside the 5 as he beats 2 defenders and takes it to the house. Luke Tritch from 49 yards out. It was a rope on the delivery from Gavin Hampton. And yes, folks, he's just a freshman, but he is strong. He's got a couple of D1 offers already, and Luke Tritch puts Riverdale in front 20-7 with 3:12 to go first half. Extra point pending. What a beautiful throw and a better run after catch for Luke Tritch.
I mean, that was a perfect throw. It's right on the money. He connects with Tritch in stride. He doesn't have to break away from the route, and from that point on, it's just full force with a head of steam. 2 defenders collide, and they couldn't bring him down.
Snap, hold, kick is up. It is good. Weaver hits out of the hold of Rolling, and the snap of Cooper Dees. A 49-yard touchdown strike, and once again, the big play offense, Ethan. I mean, I know Coach says, hey, you don't have to hit a home run every time, but it's just the identity of this offense. They have had very few long, sustained drives this season. They look downfield. They've got the weapons. And once Hampton dials it in, he had a little trouble early tonight, but he's been dialed in the last few drives. When that happens, they're a very dangerous offense.
Absolutely. I mean, they are hard to go up against because there's so many weapons. And you got to be happy for Tritch right there. He's been kind of going through a bit of a slump these last few games. Felt like he wasn't as big of a part of the offense. He gets a touchdown early here in the second quarter. But as you talk about, I mean, there's just so many different weapons on this offense. It's hard for any defense to really key on one specific guy.
6th touchdown of the year for the freshman who wears number 10. And we've seen him in the lime green before. Tonight, a lot of the Riverdale guys here in October, Breast Cancer Awareness Month, wearing the pink. They've got some pink accoutrements, pink gloves for some of them. They've got some pink wristbands and things as Weaver will kick this away. So you see some pink cleats as well, I think. Kick to the 5. Trying to make a return across. Ball comes out. Ball comes out. Scramble for it at about the 17.
I think Rockville has it.
I think they did, but it kicked out there at about the 15. The Rockets do recover it. But goodness gracious, special teams could have had a big play there. 21-7, Riverdale in front, 3:03 to play first half. It was a 2-play, 40-yard drive capped by that 49-yard touchdown. It's a 40-yard drive because that's where the drive started. You take the sack added in there, and it only took a minute 1 off the clock. Now Rockvale has to have a response. 3:03, 1st and 10 for the Rockets. They have it at the 17-yard line on the near hash. Snap to Hamby. Hands it off. Spin move. Gets past the first line of defense and gets it across the 20-yard line. Does the ball carrier as he eluded the would-be tacklers after first contact. Pick up about 5 on the carry. And they'll take it to the 22, so 5 yards. To the 22. It'll be 2nd and 5 from there. 21-7 is your score. Riverdale in front. 2.5 minutes to go first half. Hamby will work here. Now did they move the ball back? They moved it back to the 21, so 4-yard pickup. And they keep it on the ground, breaking through across the 30, slipping a tackler there. Spun out of bounds. Tika Masongwe. Big first down there. That's a great carry down to 2:13 to go here in the first half. But a big first down for Asongwe on the carry.
It was great blocking there. I mean, the offensive line gave him a clear gap to get through. He picked up some yardage. He was able to make another man miss and then pick up that big gain. That's huge. That kind of moves them further up, and they might have a chance to strike down the field.
21-yard pickup on 2nd down will make it 1st and 10 from the Rockville 42-yard line. We're down 2:02 to go, 2:01. Handoff from Hamby. They'll go right back to Asongwe. Asongwe with running room slips through. He's got very shifty hips, it seems, as he just sliced through some defenders there and picked up good yardage into Riverdale territory. All the way to they'll spot it at the 44-yard line. Another first down after the 14-yard pickup by Asongwe.
Right now, this running game is working perfect for the Rockets. I mean, we really talked so much about all the weapons in the passing game, but really what's been leading this offense has been their game on the ground.
Down to 1:35 now. 2 timeouts to work with for Coach James Counts and the Rockvale Rockets. They'll hand it right back off to Asongwe. If it ain't broke, don't fix it. And this time he's stopped. After 2 big carries, the defensive front clamps down here, holds him to a short gain to the 41-yard line. Gain of 3. And let's see if we get a timeout yet. No, it's still running down to 1:12. So Coach Counts is in the same boat. He doesn't want to score too quickly, knowing how rapidly the Riverdale offense can score. He's trying to double up here.
It's a game within a game.
Yeah, 2nd down after the 3-yard pickup, 2nd and 7. And they keep it on the ground once again, but no running room there. Now I imagine we'll get a timeout. We're down inside a minute now, 48, 47, 46, 45. It'll be 3rd down from the 42-yard line. So 1 yard to the 42.
Still waiting on it. I don't think he's going to call one.
Down to 33 seconds, 32, 31. Riverdale also has a pair of timeouts, not using it yet. Big 3rd down here. Can the Warriors force a punt and get a last chance here in the first half? Hamby scrambling to his right, flush from the pocket, still rolling right, looking downfield, and it's incomplete. Sliding down, trying to make an attempt back at the 30-yard line, but 14 seconds left now. It will be a punt situation, I imagine, here for the Rockets, or they could choose to go for it.
I mean, it depends on what you want to do here. If you go for it, you know that you have to at least do whatever you can to make sure that you either pick up the first down or take a good bit of time off with whatever play that you call, because you know that Riverdale's got both timeouts and they're going to be able to get down the field quickly.
Well, and that's the thing. Why not roll the Hail Mary? You know, you've got 14 seconds. You've got 2 timeouts. That's going to take probably 7 seconds off the clock. You would give, if you don't connect, you give Riverdale an opportunity. You can also throw it across the middle of the field and call that timeout. You've got 2 to work with. They will go for it on 4th and 6 from the 42-yard line. Hamby takes the shotgun snap. Here comes pressure. Throws across the middle of the field, and it's in and out of the hands of a defender, as it was Rees back there, and the intended receiver could not haul it in. And Judson Bingham was the intended receiver with 8 seconds left on the clock. Now Riverdale, with 2 timeouts, will have a chance here to take a deep shot themselves.
I would say I'd look for probably something deep to either Reynolds or Tritch. I'd say either a deep shot to Reynolds, you know, that's your jump ball guy. He's going to go up. He's going to make a play. Or you go over the middle, something to Tritch, let him pick up a few yards, go down, maybe try and kick a field goal. Just depends on what they're feeling.
The timeout now is called by Rockvale. It's their second. It comes with 8 seconds to go in the half, and they'll set up their defense here. Coach Counts could not connect there. His team trails 21-7, but the Rockets slated to get the football to start the second half after winning the opening toss tonight. They deferred. The Rockets took a lead on a pick 6 tonight from R.C. Chia, returning it off the interception from Gavin Hampton. Put them up 7-0, but 21 unanswered points to this point for Riverdale, as they have been able to connect. Jacob Vaughn hauling in a touchdown, Corbin Reynolds hauling in a touchdown pass from Hampton, and Luke Tritch, the most recent recipient, as Hampton has 3 touchdowns on the night, coming off of a 5-touchdown performance. Hampton now up to 24 touchdowns on the season. What he'll be upset about is his interception number went from 7 to 8 so far tonight, and that was a pick 6 variety. 1st and 10 from the 42-yard line. They'll go 5 wide receivers here. Ball right between the hashes. 8 seconds and 2 timeouts to work with. Hampton, quick throw, looking left, tries to get it to Jacob Vaughn. It's off his fingertips, incomplete with 4 seconds remaining. And it'll set up 2nd and 10 from the 42-yard line. And so now you can just, you know, look for that deep ball. But be careful, because there are some talented DBs for Rockville. You don't want to, you've already given up 1 pick 6 tonight. You don't want to set up a return situation. So let's see what Riverdale wants to do here with what should be the final play, barring a penalty, of the first half. They'll go 4 receivers, 2 to the left, 2 to the right. Vaughn on the left side of Hampton from the gun. Claps his hands, looks to throw. He's going to throw looking for Reynolds. It bounces short. They kind of cut off the route, trying to get it to Reynolds across the middle of the field. No flags, so it falls incomplete. Back-to-back incompletions for Riverdale after back-to-back incompletions for the Rockets. That's the end of the first half, Ethan.
Shouldn't have been, actually, because that ball hit the turf before the time went out. There should have been a second left on the clock, but they're interesting.
I heard the horn. I didn't look up at the clock right as it happened, but at the end of the first half, we've reached halftime. Your score, Riverdale 21, Rockvale 7 in this ball game, as we go into our Aero Sports Tennessee halftime show here. Game 9 of the 2025 season. It's week 10 officially due to the bye weeks that come along. We're at Rockvale, the launching pad, and it is a 21-7 Riverdale lead in a critical Region 3-6A matchup between the 4-4 Rockets, who are 3-2 in region competition, and the Warriors, who come in at 6-2, 4-1 tonight. And let me try again. Looking for Josh. Yeah, I messed up there. We'll see if we can get with Josh. We'll check in.
Josh, can you hear me? It's.
Hello?
Are you there, Josh?
Yes. Can you hear me?
Yeah, it's breaking up a bit, but sorry about that. We've had some technical issues. Have you got a report for us here at halftime? I don't think we do. There is not a good signal here, so we won't be able to get Josh. My apologies for that. 21-7 the score. Take a look in a moment at some of the unofficial first half stats on senior night from Rockvale. Ethan, we've got scores from around the area to get to as well, and the rough reception. It may be the metal, the size of the stands here, the metal interfering with the reception on the sideline, but 21-7 is our score. Riverdale in front tonight. Unofficially for Rockvale, Jonathan Hamby listed as 1 of 4 for 7 yards unofficially at the half. Dallas Paldo, that 7, but that's not correct because we've got the 8-yard reception by Chia Paldo. We'll have to check that. Asongwe, 7 carries unofficially for 43 yards. Hodges, 7 carries for 10 yards unofficially. And for Riverdale, these are unofficial numbers, quickie stats, if you will, in the old NCAA parlance. Hampton, in the first half, unofficially 9 of 17, 147 yards for the quarterback, 3 touchdowns, 1 interception. The touchdowns went for 7 yards to Reynolds, who has tonight 2 catches for 36 yards. Riley Talley showing 2 catches for 8 yards. Luke Tritch, 2 for 61, including the 49-yard touchdown. Jacob Vaughn, 3 catches for 15 yards, including the 7-yarder. Jacob Vaughn rushing tonight unofficially, 7 carries, 54 yards. Gavin Hampton has 5 carries for 18 yards because he's been sacked 3 times. He did have the big 27-yard pickup. That's probably his biggest run of the year. Those are some unofficial quickie numbers on a cold night here at Rockvale High School. Glad to have you tuned in. Riverdale in front 21-7, Ethan. And I think, Coach Kreisky, we reached the end of the first quarter, even 0-0. Then you have the pick 6. Things were not trending Riverdale's direction, but the Warriors flipped a switch. They turned it around after that pick 6 and really kind of took control of this game offensively, defensively, and in special teams.
Yeah, I mean, so far this game, it's felt like it's just been kind of a roller coaster of breaks, which way are the breaks leaning. And at the start, it really wasn't going anything for Riverdale. They weren't able to move the ball offensively. They had the missed field goal. They weren't able to do much. They weren't able to really dictate what they want to do at the line of scrimmage. And then after the pick 6, it looks like, oh my gosh, this is where it's going to fall apart. Things started to fall in order, and a lot of big plays for these Warriors.
Yeah, it was a pick 6 at the 10-minute, 16-second mark in the second quarter. That came after Riverdale had missed a 33-yard field goal attempt, missed it wide left as Weaver from the right hash pulled it out wide to the left side. First quarter ended 0-0, and neither team was really able to put together many sustained drives. Then Hamby was intercepted by Zayden Jones after Vaughn scored on that 7-yard touchdown pass from Hampton at the 8:53 mark of the second quarter to tie things at 7-7. That interception turned into points for the Warriors when Hampton found Reynolds for a 7-yard touchdown with 6:36 to go in the first half. It was 14-7 after the extra point from Miles Weaver. That was just a 3-play, 31-yard drive, making the turnover cost the Rockets with the touchdown. And then Riverdale got right back as they were able to take possession after forcing a punt. There was a penalty against Rockvale. Riverdale started 1st and 10 from the 40-yard line. Hampton was sacked on the first play back to the 49, a 9-yard loss, but then he connected with the freshman Luke Tritch for a 49-yard touchdown pass with 3:12 to go first half. The extra point was good, 21-7, a 2-play, 40-yard drive, just a minute off the clock, and then
Neither team could capitalize on their final drives of the first half. Rockville will get the football to start the second half here on a senior night. We will have probably an extended halftime as they've got a lot of seniors to recognize here with the balloon arch at the 50-yard line. So we will take a break here, and then we will come back and check our halftime 615 Prep scoreboard show. Here at the half, you will hear from the Barbecue Hound. If you like good barbecue, you're going to want to check out the BBQ Hound. That's Patrick Netherton on YouTube. You can listen where your podcasts are. They're up to about episode 12 or 13 now. It's a brand new podcast. He covers the barbecue world of pit masters and barbecue masters from Texas and Louisiana and Oklahoma. And if you like to know about the process, if you like good barbecue, if you just want a fun, entertaining podcast, check out the BBQ Hound on YouTube or wherever you get your podcast. And you'll hear from him during our break, and then we'll be back here in about 2.5 minutes from Rockvale High School, where the Riverdale Warriors lead 21-7 over the Rockvale Rockets. We'll be back with our 615 Preps scoreboard show in just 2.5 minutes. Stay with us.
Hi, I'm Ryan Blaney, a third-generation race car driver, and we dedicate a lot of our time to going as fast as possible. My grandpa Lou is the reason why my dad and I started racing, and I'm really proud to follow in his tracks. But when my grandpa was diagnosed with Alzheimer's, it was a very unexpected bump in the road for us. I've learned a lot on this journey with my grandpa Lou, and the memories of my grandpa will always be with me. It's important to notice if older family members are acting differently, experiencing problems with their memory, or having trouble with routine tasks. Talking about Alzheimer's can be really tough, but if you notice something, have a conversation with your loved one. Encourage them to see a doctor or offer to go with them. Early detection of Alzheimer's can give your family time to explore support services, make a plan for the future, and access available treatments. The Alzheimer's Association provides care, support, and research to help you take control of the situation with your family and manage the disease together. If you or your family are noticing changes, it could be Alzheimer's. Talk about seeing a doctor together. Visit alz.org/time-to-talk. A message from the Alzheimer's Association and the ad campaign.
So what can you expect from the Barbecue Hound with Patrick Netherton? There's two major platforms or two major kind of foundations that I want for this podcast. Good interviews, great interviews, pit masters, tastes, trendsetters, taste setters, whatever, around the world of barbecue. And I want your listener, viewer interaction. Go and find us on any of our social media. We are the BBQ Hound on everything. Facebook.com/TheBBQHound, YouTube.com/@TheBBQHound. We're on Twitter and X @TheBBQHound. We're on Instagram @TheBBQHound. If you want to listen on any of your podcasting platforms, you can go on, let's say you're a Spotify user. Go to your podcast, search for The BBQ Hound, right? It'll pop up, follow. Daniel Vaughn, the barbecue editor of Texas Monthly Magazine, will join us for episode 2 of The Barbecue Hound with Patrick Netherton.
Chris Bosen back here at Rockvale High School. We're at halftime where the Riverdale Warriors are in front of the Rockvale Rockets by a score of 21-7 as Riverdale tries to stay in contention for a potential Region 3 6A championship as they need to win tonight and then win at Oakland in the battle for Murfreesboro next Friday night, and then they would need Rockvale to win at Blackman. That is the only way for Riverdale to finish as the #1 seed and get a home game in the postseason. If it winds up being a 3-way tie or any other thing, Riverdale would lose out in those tiebreakers and wind up being the 3 seed. So they need a win tonight, a win next Friday, and then they need help from Rockvale if they want to get a home game and a top seed in the postseason. Let's take a look at some of the scores around the area because there are some playoff implications in games happening in this region and around the mid-state. So here's our 615 Prep scoreboard, Ethan. I know there's some good games out there this weekend.
So we're going to go ahead and start off with just looking around the region, right? And obviously, Oakland handling business right now against Stewart's Creek. It's 42-0 in the second quarter. You look over, Smyrna's up 14-0 against Laverne at halftime. I want you to take a guess what the Blackman and Siegel score is.
Let's go 28-0.
27-17.
Blackman.
Blackman's up.
Wow.
Now, they just put up a field goal, but, I mean, right now, Siegel's really keeping up with them, which is a big surprise after the way that they performed last week at Riverdale.
Well, we talked so much about it. It looked like effort. It just didn't look like the Stars were playing with much effort, and it sounds to me like they're taking some effort into this game.
That would be huge. That might change the way that we're looking at how things are going if they were to be able to pick up that win. Look at some of these other scores. Baylor is up 21-14 against Ensworth. McCauley's up 41-14 over Montgomery Bell. Knox Catholic is up 21-20 against CPA. Cookeville and Mount Juliet, that's a big one if we're looking at the playoff implications. It's 3-3 at halftime as the Golden Bears are hoping to pull off a victory and find a way to sneak back into the playoffs. Beach up 20-7 against Portland. Liberty Creek up 10-8 over Watertown at halftime. Lebanon's up 14-0 over Gallatin at halftime. That's another big one right there.
That's a huge game. We'll talk about that in a second.
If you've been keeping up with Antioch, they've had a star quarterback who's been a lead all season long. They're down 10 right now against Clarksville, of all teams. And then looking around, Cane Ridge is up 34-0 over McGavick. Station Camp 38-12 against Hunters Lane. Friendship Christian up 49-6 against MJCA. And that's pretty much everything that we've been able to get. There are some other games going on, but haven't been able to get any scores from them. So obviously I'll write down anything. The biggest games right now I want to get scores back from, or the biggest one would be Wilson Central and Green Hill, just because of the playoff implications.
Sure. As we look ahead to the postseason, because Riverdale's in a situation where even if they were to wind up, finishing in a three-way tie, some of the tie breaks fall into their favor because they've already are at 6 wins and some things like that. And so if Riverdale secures postseason play, the first round for Region 3-6A teams will be against Region 4-6A. That's for the first round only. So Region 4-6A is comprised of Green Hill, Lebanon, Gallatin, Mount Juliet, Cookeville, and Wilson Central. Green Hill on top of the standings at 3-0 right now. Lebanon and Gallatin are at 2-1 each. Mount Juliet and Cookeville are at 1-2, and Wilson Central's at 0-3. In that Lebanon-Gallatin game, what did you give that the score was, Ethan?
So Lebanon right now is up 14-0 over Gallatin, and then Wilson Central and Green Hill. Green Hill is up 21-7 right now over Wilson Central.
And that's after Lebanon lost last week to Green Hill. So Green Hill has that edge on Lebanon. And the reason that that's significant is as a 3 seed, the 3 seed out of Region 3-6A, which in the current standings is Riverdale, the 3 seed has to go to play on the road at the 2 seed. The standings right now, with Lebanon in front of Gallatin, would have Lebanon with that edge. They're both tied at 2-1, but if Lebanon goes on to win, they'd move to 3-1. Gallatin would sit at 2-2. It would look like, and as you look ahead, because next week Lebanon plays Cookeville. Cookeville's 1-2 in the standings. Most likely scenario is that Lebanon's going to finish 2 in that region. Green Hill is at 3-0. They're playing Wilson Central, who's winless in the region this week. And then next week, it's Green Hill, Mount Juliet. That's a rivalry game. You never know what's going to happen. But Mount Juliet not having a great season. They're just 2-6 on the year, while Green Hill is at 6-2. So you start to kind of look at where these matchups may be. Where it gets very interesting is the second round, because unlike previous years where the TSSAA would have potential region rematches in the second round because of the way they bracketed things, they voted and opted this year to break up the other seeds in different pods. And so this year, the Region 1 and Region 2 teams, which include Oak Ridge, Maryville out of Region 2, and you've got some other teams there for Region 1. If you're a road team, let's say Riverdale goes as the 3 seed, and if they were fortunate to win on the road in the first round, or whoever that 3 seed is, wins on the road in the first round, you got to go on the road in the second round, and you got to make a trip to East Tennessee, perhaps to Maryville, perhaps to Oak Ridge, however those standings fall out. But that's how it goes this year, because you're not going to have a region rematch until, if things play out by seed, you don't have a region rematch until the semifinals. If there are some upsets, you could have a rematch in the quarterfinal, but they wanted to eliminate those second-round region matchups. It's going to create some travel for the second round.
And that's why it's so important to find a way to get home field advantage. You don't have to move around as much. You can sit back, enjoy the home field. You don't have to travel, because traveling, it's not easy for any team to win on the road, especially when you're going 3 hours over to East Tennessee or whatnot. And really changing the way that you play. There's jet lag. There's so much that, there's so much that goes into it, and it's so much easier if you can just find a way to be at home.
And the Warriors trying to take care of business here tonight on the road, knowing that they still have a shot at claiming a region championship. It's not in their own hands. Their destiny is not their own. But what they can do is they could set up assuring themselves of a tie for a region championship. If they win out, then even if Blackman was to defeat Rockvale next Friday night, it would prevent Riverdale from being a sole possessor of first place. They would finish in a three-way tie. They would have a share of the region title. The tie breaks would fall as such that it would knock Riverdale down to the 3 seed. Why? Because the first tie break in a three-way tie situation is total wins, and Oakland sits there right now. They're en route to their 9th win. Even if you beat them next week, they would still have 9 wins, which would be more than Riverdale would have. It would be equal to the number that Blackman could have if Blackman gets a victory next week. But Oakland beat Blackman head-to-head, so they would win that. And then, of course, Blackman beat Riverdale head-to-head. So after the tie breaks happen, Riverdale would be in that 3 seed. But a share of the region title would be nice.
I mean, you're still region champs at that point.
Sure.
I mean, you're not as happy with it because you're not going to be at home and you're not going to have the home field advantage in the playoffs, but you are a champion of your region. There's still something said that. And the biggest thing of that is you're keeping your rivals from being sole champions.
And look, I don't care if Riverdale was 0-9 and going into a battle of the borough game. It's a rivalry game. That game means something no matter what the playoff implications are or region championship setup is. You just want to win that because it's bragging rights for the next 12 months.
Absolutely. I mean, that's something that stays with you, too. And for every player on the team, that's something they don't forget either. I mean, you took down your rival to close out the regular season. That's huge. You became region champs by knocking off one of, if not the best team in the state on paper. It's huge.
All right, so something odd has just happened here on the field, and it, made me think of American Pie because they're forcing the marching band to yield, Ethan. And Don McLean once said the marching band refused to yield, but the Rockvale band had moved all their equipment onto the field, 3 minutes left in the halftime clock, but they're not going to get to perform, and they're having to clear the field here now on senior night. Now, here's the thing. There's seniors in that band as well, and that's not right.
Yeah.
So they're going to do it at the end of the game.
But that's such a weight, too, because you have all the everything that comes after the game's over. They're
going to have to clear the fields and all that. And not to mention the temperatures are going to get a little. As a former brass member of the marching band, that gets colder and colder the longer you wait. And the reed players, I know that they're just they're dealing with issues themselves. So they're not going to let the band perform here at halftime. That's disappointing.
Yeah, I mean you could hear there was a very audible reaction from some of these parents and fans.
Well, yeah, and I think part of it was the ceremonies to recognize the other seniors at the 50-yard line took so much time off the clock that there's a situation there that they have to get the thing started. But look, I've seen it before. We've had delays of rain delays and whatever. It's senior night. It seems as though you could get a 5 or an 8 minute exemption to be able to do your halftime band performance and recognize the hard work of those seniors. Because look, they put in just as much work as the athletes, and the marching band is a sport in and of itself.
Yeah, and I think the biggest solution there is what you try and do is you try and get all of those senior festivities done pre-game, right? You might have to start them a little bit earlier, but you got to knock that out so that you don't have to do that. That's tough. You got to feel for them right there.
I definitely do. And it's good to hear that they'll get to perform in full at the end of the game. But like you said, that means, you have to wait for all the players to clear off and extends everything. Let me hand these back. And we'll try to stick around. We'll take in some of the band at the end of the game tonight.
Yeah, I mean, it's, you got to feel for them. And it changes everything, too, because there's going to be a lot less people here for it, right? Because a lot of these, any of the parents who just came for the football, all of a sudden it's like, all right, well, hey, I can head on out of here.
They put 3 minutes back up on the board for the teams to warm up. 21-7 is your halftime score. Riverdale is in front.
They responded with 3 touchdowns after falling behind 7-0 on a pick 6 by R.C. Chia, returning it about 60-plus yards, picking off Gavin Hampton. But then Hampton has responded with touchdown passes to Jacob Vaughn, to Corbin Reynolds, and to Luke Tritch as Riverdale has taken back over. Rockville will get the football to start the second half, though, as the Rockets won tonight's opening toss and deferred to the second half. So Coach Counts' squad will have the football first, and they will need to put something together offensively. They've got the weapons to do it. I still think one of the biggest plays as we look back on this game to this point will go down being that third down tackle that Emmons made on the completion to Dallas Paldo on a 3rd and very long. Solo tackle in the middle of the field, and it forced Rockville into a punt situation. They locked down on that tight end, and they've really kept Chia in control offensively, even though he had the big play on the defense.
Absolutely. I mean, they've done a great job of really honing in on him because you knew that was going to be, that's their speed guy. That's the guy you get the ball in space, you let him go to work. They've done a great job of really limiting what he can do, and they've done a great job of really going after Paldo, not letting him get too involved in the passing game. But you got to hope that they're able to kind of key in on that running game just a little bit more here in the second half, because for a good bit of that game, it was really working against them.
Coach Counts and Coach Kreisky talked to their teams at halftime, and I'm sure encouraged them to stay in the fight. Keep doing the little things. That's what Coach Kreisky's message has been all season long. And from what I've seen, Ethan, just from watching the other teams in this region, Rockville looks like a playoff team to me. They look like a team, that is going to be a tough out when you get to the playoffs, and Coach Counts has turned this program around pretty quickly. He's got a 10-year history at Henry County where he's very successful, going 95-36 over those 10 years. He's got Rockville pointed in the right direction. They're going to be dangerous in the years to come.
Yeah, and I mean, they've just such a huge turnaround from last season to this season, going 2-8, and now here, not only are they in a position where they can easily earn themselves a chance to get into the postseason, but also just playing so much better. There's a different style to the team. There's a different energy. There's a different feel. And it's just really, really impressive to see that quick of a turnaround.
And Coach Counts was a offensive lineman at MTSU back in the 90s, and so he was a former Blue Raider. And Coach Kreisky, of course, also graduated from MTSU, and a lot of Blue Raider connections. I'm glad to have some Blue Raiders on our staff. How's things going there for you, Ethan? You having a good semester?
It's been all right so far. I mean, we just got past midterms, which for anybody that doesn't know is like the worst time of the year academically because everything just ramps up. But, it's not been bad. It's been fun, a lot to do, been very busy.
Yeah, it's a busy time of year, and we're about to make that turn once we get past Halloween. I've already seen the memes out there. They're defrosting Mariah already. So, that's going to turn to the holiday music and Christmas music as soon as we get past next Friday night. That'll be quickly. And that just always goes by in a blur.
Oh yeah, I mean that's you blink and you'll miss it. It's my favorite time of year, but it is easily the quickest and hardest to enjoy just because of how quickly it moves by.
This week's going to go by quick as well because all of the Region 3-6A teams will play next Thursday night. Actually, it'll be a Thursday night football, so we'll be on the air on Wednesday night with the Coach Will Kreisky Show with highlights from tonight's game and a preview of the Battle of the Borough. And then Thursday night, 7 o'clock from Oakland, that is when we will have kick in that contest. We'll be on the air about 6 and then live at about 6:40 from the Aerosports Tennessee broadcast booth at Oakland High School. Not sure where that broadcast booth will be. We may be in the visitors stands over at Oakland.
There's a good chance of it. I mean, it's going to be packed. There's not going to be a ton of room, so it's going to be interesting to see where we're going to be during that game. There's honestly no telling as far as right now.
We're just going to be glad to be there. It's one of those rivalry games that you're just glad to have a ticket for, glad to be able to witness. And, I hope it's a good game. I hope it's a well-played game. I hope it stays within the bounds of everything, and I hope the extracurricular stuff stays to the sidelines, and that we just get a clean game next week.
Here's hoping.
Yeah.
Here's hoping, but those teams, when they get together, it can get a little rough sometimes.
Riverdale will kick to start this second half in front 21-7. Rockets will receive. They've got 2 men deep at the 5-yard line. Weaver hits it short. And again, I wonder if the weather's playing a role. To the 22-yard line, an up man takes it across the 30, still on his feet across the 35, breaking through tacklers as they went to that up man. I don't know if it was intentional or if it just so happened to be who got it. Rylan Hodges, a 5'11", 180-pound senior on the return. Good starting field position for the Rockets across the 40-yard line.
That's big right there. Good return that gets them in a good position. They're going to be close to midfield. You got to respond here. The way they ended that first half was really tough. If they can go ahead and get on the board, it'll change the dynamic of this game.
So we are just underway here in the second half of play. 21-7, Riverdale in front. Rockville with Jonathan Hamby at quarterback here. Wants to throw. Throws that little short pass on that right side, trying to get around the corner from Fuquay. Gets a block, has a first down, and is forced out of bounds over there by R.C. Chia, the senior, and they're going to go to their playmakers. You can imagine that. They had some success in the first half, but if they can get the football in the hands of Chia and Impaldo, that gives them a good chance at being successful.
Absolutely, and that's what you got to do. I mean, that's a big part of any football team. Get the hands get the ball in the hands of your playmakers and let them make plays and let them go to work. They weren't able to do that in the first half, and it really cost them. They didn't put up any offensive points. All their points came from the defense. They got to do a better job in the second half.
All the way to the Warrior 45-yard line, and now we're going to get penalty flags down. It was a 12-yard pickup on the completion from Hamby to Chia, and chilly is definitely the word. It's false start against Rockvale. Temperatures are dropping, no doubt. Back to the 50-yard line on the false start, so a 5-yard penalty against Rockville, make it 1st and 15. From there, substitutions come in here for the Rockets. Chia is here on the near side, the wide side of the field, as Rockville goes right to left. Ball's on the far hash. Zayden Jones is covering R.C. Chia. Snap to Hamby. They'll hand it off. Back trying to get around the corner on the left side. Does. Back into Riverdale territory. He's dropped at about the 46. Maybe got to the, not quite to the 45. They'll spot him at the 46-yard line. And it once again is Tikum Asongwe for a 4-yard gain, and it'll be 2nd and 11 from there. So 4-yard gain for Asongwe to the Warrior 46. And then he will come out. Looked a bit hobbled coming off the field. Ball on the near hash now for Rockville. Jonathan Hamby, the big senior quarterback, will send 3 receivers wide to his right, keep a back on his right side. Snap. In the pocket, wants to throw across the middle, elevating Paldo to haul it in, and first down at the 25-yard line. It is Dallas Paldo, 6'4", and he uses every inch of it. He's a big frame, and man, that target right down the hash marks, completion all the way to the 25.
That stuff right there, it was reams in coverage. There's not really much you can do. There's a size difference there. Paldo's big. He's got great athleticism for someone of his stature. He was able to go up and snag that. Not much Elijah Reams could do. 21-yard pickup on 2nd and 11. We'll make it 1st and 10 from the Warrior 25-yard line. 10:05 to go, 3rd quarter. We're just underway. First drive of the second half for Rockville. Want to throw to the right side. Hamby has his target over there and then slipping down, trying to elude a defender as Arden Lewis made the catch from Hamby. And he gets it to the 22 for a 3-yard pickup. He's 2nd and 7 from there. This is a good opening drive, though, for Rockville. They've got it down close. They're at the 22 here, and they're moving the ball well offensively, trailing 21-7. 3 receivers to the wide side, the left of Jonathan Hamby now. The quarterback from the pistol hands it off to the back. Running right, not able to get much room. Rylan Hodges will be forced out of bounds, and it'll set up 3rd down and manageable here for the Rockets. And this is big right here. You want to pick this up, get further down. You want to put 6 on the board. That would be huge right here for Riverdale. If you can hold them to a field goal, that would be massive.
1-yard pickup for Hodges to the 21-yard line. He's got to get to the 15 for a first down, so it'll be 3rd and 6 from that 21-yard line. Now the ball rolled. Nobody touched it. Nobody touched it. It rolled. Bizarre.
Yeah, I don't know what.
Well, maybe they set it on the laces, but that would be odd if they set it down on the laces down, maybe, and that's why it rolled. But it totally rolled. 3rd and 6 from the 21-yard line. Big 3rd down here as Rockville tries to keep this opening drive of the second half alive. Hamby out of the gun, looks to throw. Throws left side. He's got a receiver, Chia, at the 10-yard line. Too soft on the coverage over there. Chia was just standing there. And a quick delivery from Hamby, and it's a 1st down Rockets on a good play call there from Coach Counts, and the Rockets keep the drive alive.
That's big right there. It's going to get them into the red zone. They have a good chance here to punch in 6 and bring themselves within 1 possession.
10-yard gain to the Warrior 11, so they can get a 1st and goal at the 1-yard line. It's 1st and 10 from the Warrior 11 here, down to
6:20 to go, third quarter. Riverdale in front, 21-7. Rockets driving. Handoff in the backfield, trying to run on the right side of the line. Not much space there for Hodges. He may have gotten a yard to the 10, but it'll be 2nd and 9 from there. This is the extended drive that we've not seen much of tonight. And Rockville starting out with a nice drive from their 43-yard line here in the third quarter, and they've taken it all the way to the Riverdale 10.
And that's big right there. You're running time off the clock. You're kind of forcing Riverdale to kind of play at your pace instead. And you're going to wear down this defense. There's a lot of depth, but if you can wear them down, it would be huge.
At the 10-yard line, 2nd and 9 from there. Ball is between the hashes. It's shaded slightly to the left side as the Rockets move right to left. 3 receivers to the right of Hamby. Single back in the backfield. Swing it to him. Out of the backfield, Hodges gets inside the 10. He's forced out of bounds over there. Zayden Jones was part of the duo making the tackle, as well as Jeremy Thompson, the sophomore linebacker. We have not seen Czar Morris tonight, so one of the starting linebackers not in for Riverdale. Gets to the 6 on that pass from Hamby to Hodges. So a 4-yard pickup to the Warriors 6-yard line will make it 3rd and 5. They need to get to the 1, maybe just outside the 1 for a first down. But this is likely 4-down territory, I would think, for the Rockets.
Absolutely.
Hamby on the near hashes, throw it quickly to Paldo inside the 5. They try to tackle him, and it takes 3 guys to bring him down. He just goes up in the middle of the field. Paldo, the target, inside the 5. It's going to be 4th down. They'll spot him at the 3, so 4th and 2. So Hamby to Paldo. It's 4th and 2 from the 3-yard line.
They can pick up a first down without scoring, but, I mean, there's not really a lot of margin there.
So that was
curious.
That was a 3-yard pickup. Let's see. They will now run Paldo out. Paldo will come out here. Jonathan Hamby runs back into the huddle. That's a bit of a shock.
I'm not big on that.
Me either. 6:40 to go, third quarter. 4th down and 2 from the 3-yard line. Snap. And they run it in. Rockville runs it in. And I'm trying to get a number, Ethan.
Believe it was. Looking through.
Was it?
The jerseys are hard, man.
They are hard.
I've been kind of leaning on you the whole game. I'm not going to lie. It's been tough.
The snap on the extra point. I thought it was. Well, the reason it's confusing me is because I thought I saw Paldo run off, but then it looked like he was wearing 9, unless that was 8 that went in.
Well, 8.
No, here's 9 here, and that's not. Are they running 2 9s?
Not that I'm aware of.
Because look right down here. 9 definitely scored it in.
Well, that would be Boone.
Melvin Boone. Melvin Boone scores it in. So there's the deal. And again, you're exactly right. Like I said, the numbers are tough. But the touchdown run finishes up the drive at the 6:33 mark. They take almost half the time off the third quarter clock and pull within 7 now at 21-14 after the extra point. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11 plays. And it covers 67 yards on the drive. 5 minutes and 20 seconds they use off the clock as the drive started at the 11:53 mark. We're down to 6:33. And once again, Riverdale will have to respond as Boone took it in from 3 yards out on 4th and 2. And so, you know, the temperature always has an impact on us as well. The first cold game of the year always ups the ante. Here's the kick. Be returnable for Riverdale, bobbling it at the 5, picking it up across the 10, 15, cutting to the near side. Jacob Vaughn, 25, 30, 35. And Jacob Vaughn on the Rockvale sideline. Now we'll have to weave his way back through the Rockets. The Warriors will start with decent field position after Vaughn bobbled that back at the 5-yard line.
Yeah, that was almost a disaster.
Yeah.
Got around the edge. Looked like there may have been a hold in there, but No call. That's going to be a good return for Jacob Vaughn.
Let's see what the Warriors can do here. 1st and 10 from their 36-yard line. The first time they've seen the ball in the second half. They lead 21-14 now with 6:23 to play in the third. Vaughn will stay to the right side of Gavin Hampton, the quarterback, who'll work with 3 receivers left, 1 to the near side as they go left to right from the near hash. 1st and 10 at the 36. Give to Vaughn, eludes 1 tackler. Here comes Boone, and Boone can't get the stop, but then he gets some help. So Boone, after he gets the touchdown, makes the big play up front, and a loss as Vaughn could not get it going. He's pushed back to the 33-yard line. Loss of 3. It'll be 2nd and 13. So 3-yard loss to make it 2nd and 13. Ball between the hashes now. 5:50 to go in the third quarter of a 7-point ball game. 21-14 in favor of Riverdale. Hampton splits receivers, 2 left, 2 right. In the pocket, looking right. He's pressured. He's going to get rid of it, looking for Reynolds. And it's incomplete. He was pressured over there as it came there from Paldo, I believe, once again. And it'll be 3rd and 13.
Flag.
And a penalty flag came out?
Just tossed it in way after the play. May have been someone saying something. I have no idea.
Well, there was definitely, there's definitely Reynolds was in the area, so it's not going to be a grounding situation because Reynolds was in the area. The football came out, and Reynolds was within a yard or 2. And so Luke Tritch has his palms up. I don't know. Tritch is there, and they're going to wave the flag off. Yeah, maybe they did drop it as a grounding penalty, but Reynolds was right there.
Yeah.
Hampton was clearly throwing it away, but wisely throwing it in the area of a potential receiver.
Intention or not, if there's someone in the area, that pretty much clears it all up.
It is 3rd and 13 now. 21-14 is your score. 5:34 to play third quarter. Riverdale, after watching Rockvale march down the field on their opening drive of the second half, trying to avoid a 3-and-out here on their first drive of the second half. 3rd and 13 to convert and keep this drive alive. 3 receivers left. Hampton claps his hands, single receiver right, in the pocket, has time, looks across the middle, finds Corbin Reynolds. Corbin Reynolds at the 40, still on his feet, trying to shake off a couple of tacklers. It's taking 3 guys. They still haven't got him on the ground, and now he'll be tackled inside the 35. First down, Corbin Reynolds across the middle of the field, and the senior transfer from Loretto comes up in a big situation to give Riverdale a first down into Rockvale territory.
He is probably the most consistent playmaker on this entire offense, and he does it again. He's already got the touchdown. He's got a few big catches, and that one just another great throw by Hampton. A perfect strike over the middle, connects with him. That's the bread and butter of this offense, going over the middle and taking those deep shots.
That's a 33-yard pickup on 3rd and 13 from the Warrior 33 all the way to the Rockville 34-yard line. To the far hash, 3 receivers right, 1 to the left. Vaughn on the right side of Gavin Hampton. 4:50 to go in the third quarter. They'll hand it off. Vaughn, no running room, though. He's spun to the ground right at the line of scrimmage. Paldo is everywhere. Look, he's a great tight end. He's a great defensive end. This kid's going to have a bright future, I think, and play some college football.
Yeah, just the only question is what position is he going to play when he gets on to the next level. Just such a versatile athlete. They use him all over the place, and he's really having an impact in this ball game.
Vaughn loses a yard to the 35. It'll be 2nd and 11 from there. And in a game we thought would be filled with offensive highlights, it's been these defenses that have made their presence felt throughout tonight's ball game. Their presence, as well as the presence of the chilly temperatures. 2nd and 11 from the 35-yard line. Motion now with Tritch, left to right. They'll hand it off. Tritch, though, in the backfield, spin move. Here comes pressure. He'll be dropped back at the 40. That did not fool Rockville whatsoever, and there was no blocking for Luke Tritch to run that football. He's tackled back at the 40. A loss of 5. It's going to be 3rd and 16.
That's going to bring another 3rd and long here, and you want to be able to respond. They just went down the field, put up points after a long drive. You want to get something back up on the board. It's just a matter of where do you go here. You could go back to Tritch, something over the middle, but watch for Reynolds on this play.
Inside 3.5 to play, third quarter. 3rd and 16 from the 40-yard line on the near hash. Movement up front. There comes the flag. from the 40-yard line. And it's going to be offside. And that'll make it 3rd and 11 from the 35-yard line. Still on the near hash. Reynolds is a single receiver on the near side. 3 receivers on the left side. Hampton goes hard count twice. No movement this time on 3rd and 11 from the 35-yard line. He'll shift Vaughn to his left side now and survey the defense. Claps his hands, takes this snap. Pressure right up the middle. Quick throw looking for Reynolds. A lot of contact, but no flag will come out. That's a good no call there. A lot of hand fighting both directions. The defender got both hands up at the last second. Quick timing throw there, and they cannot connect. It'll bring up 4th down.
I love the no call there. I mean, let them play. You know, both guys are being physical. You shouldn't penalize one for being more physical than the other. Just let them play it out. Good call. And they're keeping the offense on the field. I think they're going to go for this.
4th and 11 from the 35-yard line on a cold night. You're probably a little outside of Weaver's range. It'd be probably a 52-yard attempt. And
so we got Elijah Rees in there instead of Luke Tritch.
There you go, and you've got 4th and 11 from the 35-yard line. 2 receivers left, 1 to the right is Reynolds. Vaughn on the right side of Hampton, ball's on the near hash. Hampton will step back. He looks to the sideline, looking to his offensive coordinators, looking to his coaches. They may let this run down, and they'll take the penalty perhaps. They do. If they let the play clock run out, there's the flag. They just get those extra yardage to see if Weaver can pin them deep maybe with 2:50 to go as they let the flag come out. So a delay of game taken intentionally. It's sort of like an intentional walk in baseball. You could have the intentional delay to make it 4th and 16 now from the 40. Speaking of baseball, last score I looked in on, Dodgers were in front 2-0 at Toronto. World Series that has international flavor this year as Toronto makes it back for the first time in 3 decades. 4th and 16 here as the Warriors drive stalls out at the 35-yard line. They take the delay of game penalty. Weaver on to punt it away. It's a high kick. It'll be fair called for at 15 and then takes a hop that was going to be a Rockvale bounce. So not the coffin kick, but they'll start inside the 20 here. 1st and 10 for the Rockets, but they just put together a big drive, and now they trail 21-14, and they can come out offensively and see what they can do here on this possession.
Yeah, and Rockville has a good chance here. If they can go down the field, they could tie it up, really get back into this ball game and even things up before we get to that 4th quarter. But, you know, I thought we might have a few more points in this one, but it's been a great game up to this point.
1st and 10 Rockville from their 19-yard line, 2:42 to play in the 3rd quarter. Hamby, the quarterback, 2 receivers left. Single back. They'll hand off to that back, and he can't quite get much started. It looked like Hodges once again. No gain. It'll be 2nd and 10. So the Riverdale defense is called on once again to sustain the Warriors. And as much as we thought it would be a night of offensive fireworks, the defenses have come up big throughout the evening. 2nd and 10 upcoming for the Rockets from the 19-yard line. They've got Paldo, they've got Chia, they've got big playmakers. Hamby, the quarterback, stands on the far hash, takes the shotgun snap, wants to make the quick throw to Chia. This time he gets it. Jones slips by. Chia's still on his feet as they miss a tackle with Fuquay. Chia across the 50. That was the same pass that Jones picked off earlier tonight when there would look to be some miscommunication. This time there was no miscommunication. Chia slipped the tackle of Jones and gets it all the way to the Riverdale 45.
Both guys still on the same page on that play, and they pick up a big gain. That is huge. First time they've really gone for a big gain through the pass. They've really lived by the running attack today, and that's the first time they've really gone to the air.
36-yard pickup. It'll be 1st and 10 at the Warrior 45-yard line.
Yeah, I kind of agree with what you said earlier. Colts kind of tripped me up a little bit.
Yeah, it's definitely, it always has the impact because we're not used to it. Inside 90 seconds to go, 3rd quarter, and it's had an impact on the field for the players tonight. Hamby takes the snap, hands it off. No running room. Nice tackle up front as riding the ball carrier down. That time was Anthony Gunn, the senior defensive lineman, as Hodges is stopped at the 43-yard line, gain of 2. 2nd and 8. And we are
Now the clock it's inside a minute. Sometimes I look up there and it has stopped, and I think it's, again, the cold is affecting the clock as well. It's not actually stopped, it just hasn't moved. And then it pops up 2nd and 8 from the 43. Hamby wants to throw. Here comes pressure. He's trying to elude it. Now that's got to be intentional grounding. Indeed it is. As Hamby underhanded that, there was no receiver in the area by the 50. He was not getting it back to the sticks. And so that grounding will cost them loss of down and the yardage, I believe, Ethan.
Yeah, and that's going to be a costly penalty right there. I mean, it's like we were talking about earlier with Hampton. You never want to accept that you're going to have a negative play, but sometimes you just got to take your medicine and live with the result.
And it was all the way back to the 42-yard line. He was avoiding the sack, but then you tack on the extra yards as the grounding penalty will push it back to the 37. So it'll be 3rd down. We all go back to the Riverdale 37-yard line. That's 13, and that's 20. So 3rd and 28 here. They've got to get to the Warrior 35. Hamby takes the snap, rolls right, looks downfield, airs it out, and it is intercepted by Hudson Fuqua at the 40. Hudson Fuqua at the 50 into Rockville territory. Hudson Fuqua, I don't know if he plays baseball, but he looked like a center fielder just waiting for that to come down. Intercepted it and went the other way. Hamby was trying to make a play, but the defense for Riverdale had it covered up.
Absolutely. I mean, just a bit of a desperation throw. There's nothing else you can do there. You know that there's a good chance that gets picked off, but a great return by Fuqua as well. And it's going to put this offense in a great spot.
Well, the play of that drive was the intentional grounding and the pressure that Riverdale got on Hamby to force him into that intentional grounding. It would have been a sack. And that turned the drive because they had it all the way down to the Warrior 45-yard line, 1st and 10, and they were marching. Now Riverdale takes over 1st and 10 at the Rockville 46-yard line with 29 seconds to play here in the 3rd quarter, leading 21-14 and needing to find some offensive life here in the 2nd half. Hampton from the gun dumps it off across the middle. Here comes a penalty flag as he got it to Tally, and Tally will be close to the sticks, but this may come back against Riverdale. I don't know. But the penalty flag sits right at midfield.
I believe that's going to come back. It is on Riverdale.
So the penalties, again, we saw it early in the season. It really had an impact on drives. It took points off the board, but a lot of that had been cleaned up through the middle part of the season. But we've gotten back to some of the ill-timed penalty flags.
Yeah, I mean, that's what kills you. You know, we saw early on in the season, that's what cost them a few wins. I mean, especially against Knoxville Catholic, right? You had probably 14 points taken off the board because of penalties. Against Blackman, you saw a few points taken off the board because of penalties. It's something that you don't want to see creep back into your team, especially at this stage in the season.
So back to the Warrior 44-yard line. So it'll be 1st down from the 44. So 1st and 20 from the 44. Hampton looking right. Now throw it to Tritch. Tritch back and gets knocked down shy of the midfield marker. Driven backwards. I guess they'll give his forward progress to the 50 as that's the end of the 3rd quarter. I heard the horn go off. They'll put him at the 49. So this official's at the 50. Now tell me what's going on there. This official is at the 50. The other official's at the 49. They're a yard difference.
You know, I couldn't come up with anything if I wanted to be, you know, more colorful than usual. I can't come up with anything.
That is the end of the 3rd quarter. Your score, Riverdale 21 and Rockville 14. Josh, have we got you now? Are you there, Josh? I don't know. I see it's impacting everything tonight. Everything, once it turns cold, everything is So we do not have Josh from the sideline as it is it is tried us to the end. So the completion from Hampton to Tritch on 1st and 20. They have the ball at the 49-yard line, so it's a gain of 5. And that's the end of the 3rd quarter with your score 21-14. We'll switch this over to the 4th quarter now as we do multiple things. You got to multitask, of course.
So just to give you a little update, Blackman is now only up 3 over Siegel.
Wow. It'll be 2nd and 15 from the 49. And the cold affects us all. So now we go right to left, do the Warriors here in the 4th quarter. Riverdale leading 21-14, 12 minutes left in regulation. Dump it off to Reynolds on the right side. Reynolds slips into Rockvale territory on 2nd and 15, but it'll be 3rd and long here as he is going to be spotted down at the 46 of the Rockets. That's a gain of 5. So Hampton to Reynolds for 5 to the Rockvale 46. 3rd and 10.
One thing to notice right now, Tritch not on the field. He took a big hit a few plays ago, and he's not out there right now. They've got number 14 out there instead.
That is Braxton Murdoch, the junior wide receiver. So no Tritch here. You've got Braylon Burns wide left, Riley Talley slot left, Braxton Murdoch in close on the left side, Reynolds on the far side of the field on the right. 3rd down and 10 from the 46-yard line. Hampton from the gun, looking right, going to send it to the outlet man. Vaughn will try to make a spin move on the sideline. They say incomplete, that he was so close to the sideline, his feet were out of bounds, so an incompletion there on that. And is that not what they called it? Did they say completion or incompletion? Because the official waved his hands incomplete.
I think they said incomplete.
That's what I thought. That's what he indicated because he waved his arms, and so it'd be 4th and 10 from the Rockvale 46. And it will be the punt unit on. Let's see if Weaver can get one into that coffin area. Pin Rockvale back deep here. He needs to get off a good punt. He stands at his 42 men back deep at the 15-yard line for Rockvale. No pressure. They set up return. High kick from Weaver. It'll be muffed. It'll be muffed at the 15 and then trying to dive back on it. Riverdale says they have it. Now the officials will have to dive people off. There were 3 white jerseys around it. He definitely bobbled it. Rockville says they've got it. Rockville does come away with it. It's very fortunate that they did.
I mean, that would have changed a lot of things right there. It would have been perfect field position, right in field goal range. That is a lucky play for the Rockets.
So you get the home field bounce there to the 15-yard line, though. But it's still, you've put them back to the 15. Rockville will start 1st and 10 from there, trailing by 7. 21-14 your score. 10:56 to go in regulation. 1st and 10 Rockets from their 15-yard line. Snap to Hamby. Hamby going to hand this one off and then run to block with his ball carrier. That is Hodges. He gets good yardage here on the 1st down carry before he's brought down, and it'll set up 2nd down. Now, this is a Rockville team that went to overtime a week ago against Tullahoma. Gets this carry, does Hodges to the 24-yard line. A gain of 9. And it'll be 2nd and 1 from there. 4th quarter on senior night from Rockvale. 2nd and 1 from the 24-yard line. Snap to Hamby. Fake the give. Going to throw it. Has a man out on the left side. Single coverage out there on the far sideline. And it's complete for a 1st down. And I wait to see because I simply cannot read the numbers.
Yeah, I feel like it'd be perfect if it was like a lighter blue, and just a little bit.
Yeah, RC Chia. I mean, you can take a guess. It is either Chia or Paldo. This one is to Chia. Up to the 34-yard line for a 10-yard pickup. Extend the drive. 1st and 10 now from there. 10-12 as the clock stops as he was forced out of bounds. Can the Riverdale defense preserve this 7-point advantage as the offense has struggled here in the 2nd half? Hamby going to hand it off. No, he tucks it and keeps it himself. Great fake. Hamby had it all the way to the 50-yard line. A terrific fake, faked everyone out, myself included. They tied up. It was a great job, and Hamby gets it all the way to the 50-yard line on a 16-yard pickup. 1st and 10 Rockets on a brilliant deception play as Hamby tucked it and kept it himself.
That was a great fake right there. Big gain, get them over to midfield. If they can get on the board and tie things up here, we could be in for a great and exciting finish.
9:50 and counting to go in the fourth quarter. Region 3-6A battle in the penultimate week of the regular season. Just one game left on the regular season slate next Thursday night. Here's the 1st and 10 from the 50 for the Rockets. Hamby going to keep it himself again. Not as good of a fake this time, as making the tackle is Nate Underwood, but he does get it into Riverdale territory to the 47-yard line. As Hamby and Hampton, our quarterbacks here tonight, Rockvale and Riverdale. It's been on a cold night. Really have to do your vocal warm-ups.
Yeah, it's been, I'm not going to lie. The vocal warm-ups have been rough for me because I was at a Preds game last night, so
yeah,
I'm feeling the toll right now.
How was that? How's the environment down at Smashville?
It's electric. It's a lot of fun. A lot of fun.
Very nice. Good to hear. Glad to see they're getting some energy back in the building. It's always been a fun night out. Good to know that the team's playing better. It'll be 2nd down and 7 from the Warrior 47-yard line. Hamby, the shotgun snap. He's pressured again. He's going to dump it off, set up that long screen. He does get it to his receiver, and that is Rylan Hodges. And he turned a big loss into a gain there on the completion to Hodges, as Hamby held on to that as long as he could.
Yeah, I mean, that's just, that is a play right there. You're glad that things were able to fall your way right there. Just have a guy open to be able to get the throwaway right before you go down. I mean, that could have been a lot of different things, but it turns out to be a small gain. That's perfect.
2-yard pickup and make it 3rd and 5, but I mean, he probably covered about 20 yards on it, but it only is good for 2 positive yards. Here's a big 3rd down, 8:38 to go in the ball game. 3rd and 5. Hamby going to make a quick throw, has his receiver at the 35, and hauling it in is Arden Lewis. So Hamby and this Rockvale offense carving up the second half defense of Riverdale. They've got themselves in position with 8:31 to go, trailing just by 7 to tie this ball game.
You want to see a little bit more physicality from your defensive backs right there. You saw Jones was playing a little bit off coverage. Of course, when they run that comeback route, there's not really a lot you can do because you aren't able to close that gap.
1st and 10 at the Warrior 35-yard line. Clock rolls, 8:10 to go in the ball game. Now they'll shift Paulo to the right side of that offensive line, ball on the near hash. Hamby will hand it off this time. Trying to find running room along that right side is Hodges. They will stop the clock at the 7:56 mark as he's forced out of bounds. After a short gain to the 32, it's a 3-yard pickup, 2nd and 7. It's going to be on the shoulders of the defense here. That's what you got. You need a big play. You've been able to get a big play when needed throughout this season, and Riverdale needs one here as they cling to a 7-point lead. It was 21-7 at halftime. It's 21-14 here in the fourth quarter as Rockville has the only points of the second half. And they are driving 2nd and 7 at the Riverdale Warriors 32-yard line on the near hash. They will hand this one off, trying to bounce it to the right side, finding running room 25-20, and no block over there on the corner as the ball carrier was Anton Reynolds. Anton Reynolds picks up big yardage and gets Rockville into the red zone all the way to the Riverdale 19-yard line. That's a 13-yard pickup, and it'll be 1st and 10 from there. And remember, when they got in close, on the last drive, Ethan, they were able to punch it in from in the goal line.
Yeah, I mean, they were able to get all the way down there inside the red zone, really fighting in. There's the thing, the run game has been elite for this team right here. You got to do something if you're Riverdale. You might have to start loading the box up just a little bit more.
So from the 19-yard line, snap, 1st and 10. They're going to hand it off, and then the gap that was there got closed very, very quickly. In on the stop that time, Jaron Hollins was in there, and it'll be no gain. And again, you wonder, Czar Morris is not out there, and missing that linebacker presence, how big of an impact that's having. We know what it was like a couple games ago without Aiden Emmons in the lineup, and Czar Morris is a big piece as well.
He brings a lot of speed to that linebacker room. I mean, he is such a great run stopper because he's able to catch up with these guys on the edge. I'm sure it's had a huge part in how they've been so good on the ground.
2nd and 10 from the 19-yard line. We're already down to 6:40 to go in the fourth. Hamby takes the snap, wants to throw. He's pressured, flush, looks downfield, has a receiver inside the 5. Zayden Jones was covered up on the receiver, but able to haul it in once again was the receiver, and that's Chia, was it not?
I believe it was Chia. I'm trying to see if I can get another look at the number. I mean, these are not.
No, it was not Chia this time. It was Arden Lewis. So Lewis, as Hamby found Lewis for the reception, all the way inside the 5 to the 4. That's a 15-yard pickup. And it's first and goal now from the Warrior 4-yard line. 6:08 and counting on the clock. And Rockvale is 4 yards away and an extra point from tying this game up as we reach the midway mark of the 4th quarter. 21-14, Riverdale in front, but that lead is tenuous now. Hamby rolls to his right, throws, has a man inside the 5. It's Paulo, and again, it takes 3 or 4 guys to bring him down. But it'll set up second and goal. Good defense there for Riverdale to keep the big tight end out of the end zone. He picks up a yard on the completion. This has been another extended drive.
Yeah, I mean, they're doing a great job running time off the clock, and that's kind of the bread and butter for a lot of teams against Riverdale, is to take a lot of time off, make them play the way you want to play. But it's going to be interesting to see if they can get a red zone stop here. What will that do? I think you're going to have to key in on either the running back or at least Paulo. Paulo's not out right now, but you're going to have to key in on something. Boone is still back there.
12th play of the drive, second and goal from the 3-yard line on the near hash. Hamby with a back on his right side. They'll bring everybody in. Jumbo. And the snap goes over Hamby's head. He'll have to track it down. He doesn't have it. It's picked up by the Warriors. Riverdale going to take it all the way the other direction. Riverdale to the end zone. It's Nate Underwood. Nate Underwood will take it all the way back to the house for the touchdown as the snap went over the head of Hamby. He went back to slide on it at about the 20, Ethan, but on this artificial surface, he never had control of it. It squirted out, and then Underwood picks it up and takes it back all the way 80 yards on the fumble recovery. Touchdown. Riverdale in front 27-14 with 4:47. What a moment. What a highlight for Underwood, and what a devastating play for the Rockets.
I mean, you talk about a gut punch. You are 3 yards away from tying the game up and putting yourself in a great chance to potentially come away with a win here. It would be their first big win of this season against a really great team. And that happens. I don't know what to say.
Here's the snap, the hold, the kick. Now, I don't know. Now, what are they saying? Oh, false start here against Riverdale, so they'll have to back them up. Nate Underwood recovered it. Hamby had the snap go over his head. He tracked it back to his right. It looked like he was going to recover it, but as he slid down to try to get on it on this turf, he just kind of slid against the football, and he never had possession. And Underwood was able to scoop it up and just take it 80 yards the other direction. You know, in this series, Rockville has 1 win all time against Riverdale, but they were so set up there at the 3-yard line, looking like they were ready to punch it in to tie it up. After the penalty, it's going to push the football back to the 15-yard line, making it a 25-yard extra point attempt. Weaver bangs it out of the hold of Rolling, and the snap of D's. It is good. With 4:47 to go in the ballgame, it's now Riverdale 28 and Rockvale 14. The defense. We just said it, needing to make a big play, finding ways to make a big play. And as Coach Kreisky says, just like Merrill Hodges' book title is Find a Way, the defense found a way there as Underwood returns it for the touchdown.
I mean, I'm still just speechless. I mean, that is something that happened. Of all the ways that you can have something turn against you, you know, there's ebbs and flows in every game. There's breaks, you know, for both sides, but at that time, man.
Well, and the roller coaster that the Rockvale Rockets have been on over the last week, going to overtime last week against Tullahoma, going for 2 points at the end of that overtime when they didn't have to, but going for the win here on their home turf and being successful with it, and then to look like they were headed in, Eden. That's the 12th play of the drive. Second and goal from the 3-yard line.
3 yards from pay dirt.
And, you know, an extra point away from tying it up. And instead, now you've got a 2-score game, 28-14 with 4:47 left. Now, you do have your timeout to work with. This game is far from over with the weapons that Rockville has to work with. But a big turn of events there on the snap over the head of Jonathan Hamby. This kick will be bobbled inside the 10, picked up there, bouncing off a tackler at the 15. And Riverdale has all the momentum right now.
Absolutely. I mean, it would be hard to think that they don't after that kind of a play. I mean, that is just you could feel the energy just kind of just evaporate from this place.
I think everybody was in the same boat as you. It was so unbelievable to see because Hamby looked like he was going to slide down, recover. It would have been devastating, but still they would have had, 3rd and goal. But instead, it just swung the other direction as he could not come up with that football after the high snap. They'll start 1st and 10 at the 16-yard line here on the near hash with 4:42 to go now and trailing 28-14 will the Rockets. Jonathan Hamby, the quarterback for head coach Counts. Work to do here, trailing by 14. Quick throw on the near sideline, and it's incomplete. And his intended receiver that time was Connor Nichols. And look, Ethan, you can see just the body language of the Rockets. It was a gut punch. It took it right out of them. All the energy, all the emotion, and it's just devastating.
Well, I mean, you're looking for a statement win on the season, right? You look at their wins. It's been Laverne. They haven't won a game this season. Stewart's Creek, they've really struggled with injuries. Siegel, they've been so up and down. Tullahoma is a good team, but it's not a region game. You were looking for that statement win.
2nd and 10 from the 16. Quick throw from Hamby. Gets it to Paldo. Paldo slips a tackler. Here comes help. Riverdale, you got to get guys to him. I said that last week. It takes 2 or 3 or 4 guys to bring Paldo down. I like watching him play, though. He reminds me of the old Dallas Cowboy tight ends that used to be so good and so rough and tumble. Paldo's a good one.
He's your traditional tight end. I mean, he makes the catch. You're gonna need support bringing him down, but this game's far from over, but it's just such a gut punch to see that kind of a play at this moment.
6-yard pickup to the 22 will make it 3rd and 4 from there for the Rockets. Down to 4:05 and counting to go in the ball game. 28-14, Riverdale in front. I even have to go back over here and update that. 28-14 is your score. And that pass was complete there. Short game, but it'll set up 4th down. They get it to the 24. Yeah, it'll be 4th and 2. It's complete from the 24-yard line here. Down inside 4 minutes to go. 3:57 showing on the clock. Clock is stopped as it went out of bounds. So here's a big 4th down. Critical for Rockvale. Hamby takes the snap. He's going to keep it himself. He has the 1st down, and he'll be tackled up near the 30-yard line. But, we talked about him not being not a real dual threat, but he's done very nicely with the football. I mean, you'll never see him running, true option, but I would have thought the same for Gavin Hampton until earlier tonight.
Yeah, I mean, he's made some big plays with his legs, and the biggest thing is he's been able to extend plays. He's been able to get out of some pressure. He's been able to get the ball away, check downs. There's so much he's been able to do getting out of pressure. I mean, Riverdale doesn't even have a sack on him this game, and they've got one of the best pass rushes in the state. So he's done a phenomenal job.
6-yard pickup there on 4th and 2 to extend the drive. 1st and 10 now from the 30-yard line. They go left to right, but having to hurry now as the clock is their enemy. 3:45 to play, needing 2 scores, trailing 28-14. Hamby in the pocket, looks across the middle of the field. It's knocked away. It was thrown into traffic, and 2 Warriors collided as Riverdale had Jackson Porter down there along with Elijah Reams, and they ran into one another trying to make a play on the football. It'll set up 2nd and 10 from the 30-yard line.
Good to see both of them are all right. I mean, that was a hard hit. Both of them looked like they could be hurt on that, but they both popped right up.
3:35, and the second half, we have not seen Riverdale shut down the way their offense has been in the second half, really, this season.
No, I mean, we haven't. The only time we've seen anything close to that might be Knoxville Catholic or maybe even Blackman, but that would be it.
2nd and 10 now from the 30-yard line. Jonathan Hamby trying to rally the Rockets, trailing by 2 touchdowns here in the 4th quarter. Quick throw over on the left side, and he just slips it in there as Braylon Burns tried to make a play on the football. There is a penalty flag. Is there? Face mask against Riverdale, I believe.
That's big right there. That's good.
Yeah.
That's good for the Rockets. I mean, you got to get down the field, and you got to get down the field in a hurry. You got to put up points.
So that's a 15-yarder right at the 30, but there's a face mask 15-yard against Riverdale. it'll be 1st and 10 all the way up to the Rockville 45-yard line. 3:20 to go. All 3 timeouts for head coach James Counts. Snap. Hamby gonna air it out down the right sideline and too far for Arden Lewis to run underneath it. It was out of bounds as well. And so that'll make it 2nd and 10 from the 45-yard line.
And that's tough right there. He was wide open. I mean, there was not only was he open, no separation, but there's no one out in front of him either. If he makes that catch, there's a good chance he goes straight to the house.
I just can't, and Ethan, it'll get closer and closer to time to talk about, when this season wraps up, we will have a special Coach Will Kreisky show whenever the season ends, hopefully in mid-December. But we'll have plays of the year, and we'll rank those plays and we'll count them all down. But knowing what happened on the 12th play of that drive, knowing that play is going to be in that top 10, still can't get over it. Here's the snap. Hamby's pressured, and speaking of the first sack of the night, it is recorded there as Hamby is tackled back at the 37-yard line, as it was a trio of Riverdale Warriors, and Hamby reduced to trying to pass and get his team back into this. He takes the sack here back to the 37-yard line, a loss of 8.
I mean, you can just feel the energy. I mean, that is just it's heartbreaking. It's a heartbreaking moment right there, that play, because it's starting to feel energy-wise like this game is over. It's definitely not. It's far from it, actually. There's still just under 3 minutes. I mean, you have time to make plays getting on. There's still a lot left, but
timeout on the field for the Rockets. But we were stunned by the play. The play being a 2nd and goal from the 3-yard line, snap over Jonathan Hamby's head. He tries to track it down back around the 20 and slide on it, but the ball kicks away. It's scooped up by Riverdale, and they take it 80 yards the other direction. And instead of a potential game-tying touchdown and extra point, instead Riverdale extends to a 2-score lead. And now it just took the emotion, the energy, everything out of the fans, the team. And you can understand it, because it was truly a gut punch. No better way to describe it. After the timeout, 3rd and 18 from the 37-yard line. Jonathan Hamby trots back out on the field. He's got 3 receivers right and back on his right side. Scrambles back inside the 25. That's got to be a grounding, right? I mean, there was nobody within 10 to 15 yards.
Yeah, I'm a little bit lost on that.
I mean, he threw it to the 40-yard line.
It's got to get out of bounds. I mean, he got out of the pocket, but it's got to get out of bounds, right?
Well, I guess he got it back to the line of scrimmage, which was the 37, but there was no one in that area.
No. There was nobody over there, and that's what I think they're discussing right here.
Not sure, there was nobody around. So, yeah, it didn't get out of bounds, and it was thrown in that area. It falls incomplete. It'll be 4th and 18. Let's see if they give an explanation. Maybe Coach Kreisky wants to know that. The officials did talk about it, and they are talking with Coach Kreisky. I'm sure he's asking the same question. How is that not grounding? We'll ask him that on the Coach Will Kreisky show. What did they tell you, Coach? 2:48 to go, 4th down and 18. Hamby going to air it out downfield, tracked by Fuquay, and it goes through his hands. He was trying to make a say, hey, kid catch. Let's go with another baseball reference there, like Willie Mays in center field. He had his back to it, but that's why he's probably not a baseball player, Hudson Fuquay. It falls incomplete, and then turnover on downs as Rockvale will give it over to Riverdale. But we do have their flags down, is that?
Yeah, I believe so.
There is. I'm looking for it, and I don't see it.
There we go.
There it is. I think the temps have affected everyone tonight, and they're going to call holding against Riverdale.
Well, there you go.
And so it'd still be 4th down, as the hold will take it up to the 47. So holding is 10 yards. It'll be 4th and 8 from the 47 after the 10-yard penalty. Look for Paldo here. I mean, on a beating 8 yards, 2:43 to go, 4th and 8. They're going to swing it out instead. That short pass, and then slipping down is Elam Amedetui. And that'll be a turnover on downs. No penalty flags here, and now Riverdale can come out and this final 2 minutes, 36 seconds off the clock. But a valiant effort tonight from Rockvale, and, you know, saying that they're the only team in the region that had scored against Oakland, even though they fell 35-14. You understand how they did it. This is a quality defense and a good offense, and they're a team to be reckoned with. They still have a good shot at the playoffs.
Absolutely. I mean, it's tough now because there's a few things that may not be in your control going into next week, but there's a good team, and this is one of those teams that when you and I talk about saying, hey, if somebody's at home knowing they could have won a playoff game, this could be one of those teams.
100%. Gavin Hampton still in the fourth quarter. We haven't seen that for a while. Handoff Jacob Vaughn on 1st and 10 from the 43. Bursts forward to the 39. So Vaughn here will be called on to try and wind this one down. So 4-yard pickup, make it 2nd and 6 from the Rockvale 39. They go right to left here, leading 28-14 on senior night at the launching pad, actually known as Homer Brown Field here at Rockvale High School. Rockets have only ever beaten Riverdale once in their history since they came on as a school. I believe that was back in 2022. Snap here on 2nd down. Hampton will hand it off. Vaughn running room, 35-30. Jacob Vaughn, 25-20. Blockers downfield. Tries to tiptoe down the sideline. Gets into the red zone before he's forced out on the near side at about the 14-yard line. Minute 43 left. 2 timeouts for the Rockets. They can stop it just twice. Let's see what Riverdale wants to do here to play this out, because they, I think, could go victory formation here now with only 2 stoppages available.
I believe they could. I don't know if they
will,
but they definitely could.
Vaughn gets it to the 14, so that's a gain of 25 on 2nd and 6. It's 1st and 10 from the 14-yard line. Clock is stopped at a minute 43. Remember, after the game, you got the band performance. We'll be here for it. Hope you'll stay with us for our post-game show as we'll check scores from the 615 Prep scoreboard. And Vaughn carries this one after he takes the handoff and gets it inside the 10. Going, sailing there was Avante Morrison, the offensive lineman. He took a tumble. But Vaughn got good yardage there. They'll spot it to the 10, so it'll be 2nd and 6 from the 10-yard line. To the 4-yard pickup. Clock down to a minute 12 and counting. And the play clock is now at 15 seconds.
I do believe.
Here comes Luke Tritch back in, so it's good to see him back after he took that big hit near midfield.
I do believe they're just going to go to the victory formation here and kind of knee things out.
So it does indeed look like victory formation. Hampton will take the snap and kneel it down at the 14. And I am not sure. It says it's going to, you know what? Yeah, you're good now. Yeah, you can go to the corner, you know. I think the weather has, and everything we got going on tonight probably has anything to do with it. Josh, I'm so sorry. We didn't get with our sideline report, but here's what we're going to do. You're going to stay right here with me. You're just going to stay right here. We're going to talk to you as we go here in a second. Gavin Hampton here on 3rd down. We'll kneel this one down. And we're down to 14 seconds, 10, 9. That is going to be the final snap. Your final score will be Riverdale 28, Rockvale 14. The dream for a Region 3 6A championship and a potential #1 seed is still alive. Riverdale takes business tonight. Coach Counts and Coach Kreisky meet out by the 50-yard line. Long-time friends. They played at Henry County. They were ball boys there. And they have known each other for many, many years. And the teams will shake hands at the 50-yard line in a hard-fought game tonight. A lot of kudos to Rockvale in a big effort. It turned on a turnover. Both teams had a defensive touchdown tonight. And we thought it would be a game of offensive fireworks. And Josh, I'm going to bring you in from here. You're right there with you. Josh Adams, our sideline reporter, the cold prevented us from doing much sideline reporting tonight. But Josh, the
the energy tonight, Rockville was in control in the second half, but a big defensive play was the difference.
Second half, I would say that big defensive play was a big game changer for this contest, but really it started right after the interception in the second quarter for Riverdale specifically. I was over there on the sideline still taking mental notes, obviously, and Coach was really just irate the fact that they let that happen and didn't get enough pressure or get enough coverage for the quarterback. He went and basically berated the team saying, guys, we told you guys that they're good. They're better than this. They're better than this. So basically saying, don't play down to your opponent. Obviously, Riverdale won tonight, showing why they're the better team on paper. But it took an emotional turning point there in the second quarter to kind of propel them and the energy for the team.
Yeah, Riverdale fell behind 7-0 on the pick six that Chia took back on a play that Hampton shouldn't have thrown the football. He should have taken the sack or been sure he got it out of bounds. But after that pick six, Riverdale put 3 consecutive touchdowns on the board to take a 21-7 lead into halftime, Josh. But the second half was controlled by Rockvale throughout.
No, absolutely. Rockville came out and really gave a second punch effort. They really showed why that they're here and a contender, someone that they should take seriously. But obviously, Riverdale came up top in the end. Rockville really put a good effort in tonight. It was just a crushing, crucial missed play there.
Look, we were talking about it up here, and you were down on the sideline for the game. This is really the first game we've had all season where the cold temp has had an impact. And we didn't know if it was cool, it was chilly. I don't know if we can call it cold yet, but I think that the difference between what we've dealt with in these other games definitely had an impact tonight.
No, absolutely. I heard it multiple times over there on the sidelines. Obviously, like you said, this isn't the coldest it's going to get, but in comparison to all the games that we've had this season, this has been the coldest yet, and it definitely made an impact early on. It took a while for the team to get settled and just comfortable with the game, but they've took the temperature, they did what they could, and just pushed through.
Yeah, and I think we saw last week it impacted Gavin Hampton off to a bit of a slow start last week, a slow start tonight, but they responded. It impacted special teams as well. Weaver had the missed field goal attempt. We haven't seen that often. So I do think it played a role. As we look ahead to next week, Josh, Oakland, the Rockets were the only team that had scored on Oakland coming into this game. They put 14 points in terms of in-region play. Riverdale can't afford a slow start next week.
No, they cannot. And it's very tragic, the fact that this has been kind of their MO for the last couple of games. They've been going on these slow starts and then finding their way later on in the second quarter. But with Oakland, there is no possibility that you can start off on the wrong foot. This is definitely going to be the biggest game of their season. We're going to hope that they can carry the momentum of this win and possibly start with their best foot forward this time.
And that'll be next Thursday night. This Rockvale team is now in a fight for their playoff lives. They're going to go to Blackman next week. They could wind up finishing in a potential 3-way tie for that fourth and final playoff spot as they fall to 4-5 overall. They're 3-3 now in region play. We'll get some scores in a minute. Siegel was playing at Blackman tonight, and then Siegel is going to finish up against Laverne. So that's the thing, is that if Siegel, even if they lose tonight to move to 2-4, Laverne is winless. That probably means Siegel's got a good shot at finishing 3-4. Smyrna was playing Laverne tonight, so you assume that Smyrna did well there to move to 2-4 themselves. And then Smyrna finishes up in the Mayor's Cup game against Stewart's Creek at home. That's a rivalry contest, but if Smyrna could win that, they could move to 3-4 as well. So we got Oakland big winner over Stewart's Creek, Blackman over Siegel 34-31, and Smyrna was a victory 42-0 tonight. So 615 Prep scoreboard. And we'll get some other scores from Ethan Marcum in a minute. But when we think about all that, you're going to likely, what's going to happen. Rockville now at 3-3. If they don't win next week, a win next week is going to make Rockville your 4 seed. But a loss against Blackman would have them at 3-4, and likely Siegel and Smyrna at 3-4 as well. And then it comes down to overall wins, and Rockvale would be sitting on 4. Siegel would be potentially sitting on 4. Smyrna, however, who won tonight to pick up their 4th win, if they get that win to 7-8, they get the 5th win. Smyrna would make the playoffs. Rockvale would be sitting home. This is a playoff team.
This is absolutely a contending team, Chris, and this is why this was such an important game. I could tell early on they were coming out with some fire, trying to assert their dominance because they knew this was kind of a must-win situation. And we thought that this game was going to go a certain way, especially late in that third quarter when they were going to look to turn the tides and possibly take this game over. But it looks like that they're at a very, very disadvantaged spot right now, and they're going to basically just be hoping and praying for other teams to lose out for a better opportunity.
Well, Josh, my apologies for the gear not working. It's always with temperature changes, being on the road or whatever. I appreciate your work on the sideline. I appreciate you having you as part of this crew. What's up for you this weekend?
This weekend is just going to be a chill weekend. I've got a couple of exams coming up. I'm just going to take it day by day, studying and getting this homework done. But I know technology is a big factor that we can't control these days. But I appreciate you letting me come up here and kind of get my insight on what was going on.
No, absolutely. And do you have any broadcasts coming up soon?
As far as I know, I think just a soccer broadcast for MTSU.
And when's that?
That'll be in the near future, I think next weekend. So we'll see how that goes. But I appreciate it.
Well, yeah, give us the update on Thursday night. We'll be over at Oakland. That's going to be a big way to start the Halloween weekend.
Oh, I'm excited for it. That's